right.
You okay there, Brian?
No, somebody ate my cookie.
Oh, tragedy. At least somebody didn't drink your beer.
Well, I haven't checked yet.
Maybe the cookie was just like a diversion.
Yeah, that must have been it.
Hi, Mark.
You guys,
Forgot I muted myself. Y'all don't have to turn your videos on. Like,
Hey. That's kind of better if everybody can see each other, you know? Can you guys hear me okay?
yeah,
Nice. It's my daughter Gwen. She's going to be joining us for tastings tonight.
nice.
Hi. No. Yeah.
What's up? You're muted.
Yeah, I can't. There we go.
Brian is talking, I think, and he's
Oh,
muted.
Brian's talking. I was like, I'm muted too and waving like an idiot. So
Oh.
glad that makes more than one of us.
oh, your video, Matt, hadn't kicked in yet, so I was still staring at your beer hunter photo.
Yeah, sometimes when I log into these things, I must uncheck everything rather than checking it. So,
No.
37 going on 90.
Well, there's also the fact that there's some defaults that I don't think to change in my U of O account. So, like muting and video off or muted participants and video off for participants is a default for U of O.
Yeah, my Delgani account has recording as default, and I definitely recorded a meeting today that shouldn't have been recorded. I mean, it's fine, but definitely didn't need to take up hard drive space.
Now the question is, can you use that as collateral in the future?
No,
Oh, okay.
I've already deleted it.
Oh,
Brian's trying to do his best Kenji impersonation.
oh,
over
is
there.
is he trying to cook and run multiple cameras all at once?
Yeah, I think so. He just needs a GoPro attached to his forehead.
I mean, that would liven up somebody's live stream brew day, you know.
Anybody have a
Same time,
GoPro?
it's probably a good way to get motion sickness.
Yeah. Just watching a 5-hour brew day on somebody's forehead.
Hey,
Yeah. The fun thing about the online meetings is that you don't have to worry about transit time. So
True.
you're always like, oh, I can just like click in at a moment's notice. So
Right.
uh,
Yeah, I was gonna come 10 minutes early, and then I got busy, and it's like, oh well. I'll only be 4 minutes early.
yeah. And well, on the bright side for this, I was actually just thinking about one of the meetings that I think was at Oakshire, and I was late. Herb and Ellen were late. Like 4 of us were in cars that were stopped by a train
Mm.
right at Oakshire, and it was stopped on the tracks, and so there was no way to get around it.
Yeah.
Just like, I miss meeting at Oakshire. I miss meeting in a space that's not my house.
Yeah.
I don't miss dealing with the damn train.
Yep.
Or like driving intoxicated.
There's that too. Like you know, if you stumble and stub your toe on your way to bed, you got yourself to blame, and you've just maybe broken a toe. You can maybe take yourself to court for a personal injury.
Yeah. Find myself guilty in the morning of So many things. Unspeakable thing.
Oh,
So I guess before the meeting gets going, check this out. I repainted the whole patio,
Ooh.
and we got new patio furniture. We have like a whole living room set up out here now. It's pretty sick.
Wait, hold on. Can you still play Pong?
Oh, I'm sure we can arrange that. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Come the days where we can like nominally share cups.
Yeah,
Yes.
never,
Absolutely.
probably.
I will make it happen. I don't care if I have to take everything I know.
um,
Aaron, did your small person help you do all that?
Um,
Help?
no. he
Not the
didn't.
least, huh?
Yeah. I mean, he tried to help put together the couch today by taking the screws.
That's a good help.
Yeah.
You knew where they were.
Yeah, what did he do? He climbed on the ladder.
well, Magnus, we got
a crew.
we got a good number of
This
people.
is a quorum.
Yeah.
Good.
Is it just us 6?
No,
No, keep scrolling.
No,
Yeah.
there's, yeah, you gotta keep going through it.
we got
Like 14 people.
14 accounts on and
Yeah.
16 people, 17 people watching.
Jeff Mickna. Woo!
No.
Oh, hi everybody.
Oh,
That is the downside to screen sharing is it screws everybody over trying to see everybody.
yeah.
Yeah. But there'll probably be time later to put us in squares.
There will be time for Hollywood Squares later.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll try and get through this. It's relatively unstructured today, so and we're going to spend probably most of the time learning what new technology Dana has for us to do a raffle with. So that's probably the highlight of the whole damn thing. So I think it's 7:05. That's enough time. We'll get started. I am not watching the live stream just because I can't. I have one screen. So if you are on the live stream, hi. You'll see this 5 minutes later.
Turn the Zoom call.
Yeah, August 2020, here we are. I can't freaking believe that tomorrow is September 1st. I don't know what the hell happened to the month of August. I would like at least half of it, if not more, back. So I figured what we do is actually Dana kind of put me on the spot over the weekend. She's like, oh, Mike's going to make slide decks. And I was like, nah, I wasn't really planning on it. And I was like, oh, shit, I should. So I figured this would be our agenda. State of the club, just an update. You can probably guess that I don't have a hell of a lot for you. Competition results. We actually have competition results, so this is fun. Then essentially the tech talk. Hopefully people were able to pick up the beers. But my thought here, and Matt and JT didn't try and stop me from doing this. So effectively what I figured we'd do is just run down in order and just you're going to see some stats on the beers, and the person's going to maybe talk about their beer if they want to. If you have said beer, you can drink it and offer some sort of feedback, or you don't have to at all. That's up to you. And then we move on to the next beer. And I don't actually have an idea for how long this would take. You don't have to offer feedback, but people, I think, I will say one of the beers that I submitted, I'm just interested to hear people's thoughts on it because, we'll do that. And then I think the majority of the time is Raffle and Dana, and then probably just into the Hollywood Squares and just say hi to everybody and and go from there. So, state of the club. There isn't a whole hell of a lot to say. Safety is still kind of the driving concern here, and it's not really all that much safer. It is the status quo is kind of held. Still looking at virtual meetings. Not really surprised there. Not super happy about it, but it is what it is. I do want to plug again happy hours. It may sound really kind of odd, but they've been really great every single Friday, starting at 5:30, going until whenever you decide you're done. Some of the happy hours have gone very long and people were very happy at the end of them and then very unhappy the next morning. I can vouch for that. But it's pretty fun to just have some weird BS conversations that sometimes are beer centric and sometimes it's just random things. So come join if you want, every Friday. For everybody's, just a reminder to everybody, if you miss an email or whatever, the link for those happy hours, the link for these meetings, it's always on. If you log into your club account or your account on the club page, there's a menu option in the green. Is it green when it's in the members? I don't remember, but whatever the menus is for members, there's like a social distancing tab. If you click that, it has all the links that you want for there.
But don't do like what I did that one week and I clicked on the meeting thing and I went to July and I'm like, well, where's the social hour thing? If I'd gone down a little further, there it was.
Yeah, I tried. I made bigger headings now.
For dorks like me, thank you.
Well, I also realized like order was kind of in an odd space and like it was just like, nah, I'll do a quick little HTML edit. So, but it is there. The link for happy hour doesn't change, and that's the nice thing. I just set it up in Zoom. It's the last Monday of every single month, and it goes until either Heat Death of the Universe, Zoom as a platform dies, or we get to just not do this anymore. Whichever of those comes first. I'm plugging this for Matt, but it's also U of O is getting ready to start, and part of my job is teaching classes and also training students to do stuff like this. And so this is heavy on my mind right now, but it takes a little bit to put talks together in Zoom. It takes some time and consideration, but I don't want that to dissuade people. I think if people are interested in sharing, big shout out to JT to kickstart this idea of sharing homebrew, getting kind of back to the homebrew club. Let's get some beers passed around. Talk to Matt, talk to me. We're really great at enabling, but also empowering. So you don't necessarily have to give the talk, but if you have a pretty cool idea that you want to talk about, let's do it. I did actually see one that I'm really interested in, but Matt, go for it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have good news on that front for the first time in a long time, which is the AHA reached back out, and so they have offered to do a talk on lager brewing next month. So we're set there. I'll hook you up with the gentleman there just so we can get the Zoom stuff worked out. Thanks again to JT for putting this together again. I think I try to make these as open-ended as they can. And this is a great example of just saying, hey, let's just like formally share beers and get to talk about it. Great idea. Aaron also graciously punted his talk from next month to October so we could make room for the AHA. So we'll hear about Kvike in October. But if you have any ideas for November, December, I don't know if we can talk about that. I don't think we have anything nailed down. It's just as far as meeting agendas and things like that. I don't want to step on virtual holiday party toes or anything like that, but no toes, as we like to say. But but anyway, yeah, I might send a poll out because there were some ideas moving forward or from the beginning of the year that we might be able to pull forward and stuff like that. So I'd rather get ahead of it, give people a few months to prepare if anyone wants to jump on it. So, but other than that, yeah, thanks to JT, thanks to Aaron, and thanks for everyone's patience.
If you find yourself getting really bored with brewing, which I can't imagine most people are, I actually just saw a blog post right before this meeting started, and I think it'd be really interesting for someone, probably not me to try. I'm not volunteering myself, but some guy came up with this idea of doing an SD brew where he estimates everything by eye, and shoots from the hip. Essentially, he's like, I want an IPA, and it essentially just goes out, no weights, no volume markings or anything like that, and tries to brew based upon sight, smell, and taste. I think that'd be an interesting experiment if somebody wanted to try it. I got to go read the entire thing and see how that actually panned out for this poor guy. But I think his whole thing was he needed something different. He was like, I am sick and tired of being, doing things the same way. I need something to change. One thing that has proved relatively popular, people have been hopping on Zoom with their own personal accounts, using the Discord server to host videos, or using Google Hangouts to just, start a video hangout or an audio hangout while the brewing, and just shoot the shit. It's been pretty fun. Keaton did one. I think that was the last one that I was a part of. I think that was Big Brew, so beginning of August. I mean, it's there's no agenda. It's just, hey, I'm brewing today. Anybody want to come hang out? Would be an idea. If someone's up for that, you can always send it out via the email blast. That said, I don't have a link to the Discord server. Mark could probably send one out. I'm going to put him on the spot. Anybody can really send one out. I just know that those links to the Discord server expire after a certain amount of time.
The last one I did is non-expiring. So let me just find that. I'll pop it in the chat.
And if you're sitting there going, what in the hell is Discord? That's okay. I said the same thing when Mark and Dana said, let's do this. Essentially, it works as a really great way to just quickly communicate with people about what's going on. And there's things like, to preface, we're going to talk about the COC that was coming up, or that happened on Saturday. And somebody said, we need an opportunity to talk smack about the judges while they're judging. And just, go, haha, they missed this. And, someone's so diaspora blind. Oh my God, I can't believe they missed that. But it's a chat forum, but you can share images, you can share links, you can share a whole bunch of stuff. You can also come see Brian be an epic shit poster, because there is a specific area for that called shit posting, where it's just off topic nonsense. And Brian's very good at off topic nonsense.
Okay, guys, I get it.
Yeah, it is another platform, but it does. It's gotten some pretty good engagement, and it's been things where some things have been coordinated very quickly, where somebody's like, I need to go do this, or I need this piece of equipment. Bam, it's done. A little bit faster in email when people are checking it, maybe a little bit more frequently. So look into it. You don't have to download an app. You can use a browser for it. But it's proved to be pretty darn popular. I think just what we would ask is, if anybody does join, introduce yourself, because some people don't. You can use a username, so it doesn't have to match your name. So if your username isn't going to match your name, just make sure people know who you are, so that.
And if you're not using your face as a picture.
Right. If you're not using your face as a picture, that's the other thing. Like, my picture is a can of beer and my dog, so you wouldn't necessarily know it's me, except for my username. So there's a plug there. And that's essentially where the club is. Matt kind of mentioned virtual holiday party. There have been a couple of ideas floated. We're going to float some ideas to the EC about how does this work, because let's be honest, December is going to roll around, and it's still not going to be safe to be 30 of us in one person's house. So maybe some sort of re-envisioning of what the holiday party looks like, or at least what it is. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. As we know more, we'll share and make sure people have it. The one thing that I did, I forgot to say, this is good practice during these meetings. If most people are muted, that's totally fine. If you want to chime in at any point, please do so. Unmute yourself and just say, hey, I got a question, or I need to say something. It's perfectly fine. We have 19 people, not including myself, or 18 people on this call. can't see everybody's video screen. So if you start raising your hand, I'm not going to see it. So just chime in at any point. State of the club. 2. I know it's crazy. Like we actually so 2 competitions. One was an actual, not this, I say this, God, that kind of discredits our COCs. But it was a nationwide competition. It was hosted by Mecca Grade Estate Malts. It was unfortunately named Brewing Man. It's getting renamed. But for multiple reasons, unfortunately named. But what's awesome is that Kylie took best of show. I'll let her, so the beers had to use all local ingredients. Loosely defined, I can't name everything. I'll let her chime in. Wit-based grew it.
Yeah, I'll start with a huge shout out to Kelly and Aaron, who hooked me up with a lot of the herbs I needed that I traditionally buy from Mountain Rose and couldn't in this situation. So thank you to both of you. You definitely made this happen. It was a Gruit brewed with Imperial's Whiteout, all Mecca grade malt. I used yarrow, mugwort, sage, and lavender stems for the bittering charge, and then used yarrow and chamomile, bee balm, and that might be it for the fresh charge. I'll send out the recipe if anybody's interested. Drew of the Denny and Drew podcast sent me an email like 15 minutes after the announcement was made and was like, "We're going to have you back on the podcast." And I was like, that wasn't an ask. So if anybody wants to hear me prattle on about that, I'll be on their show coming up talking about that beer and brewing with other herbs.
So yeah, it's, if you do pay attention to competitions, there hasn't been a whole hell of a lot going on. And so it's awesome to be able to say, one, that there was a competition that was outside of our COC. 2, even better that someone from CBS entered and then won best of show. But it does give us some sort of an idea. Could there be other competitions? I don't know. It takes a whole hell of a lot of work to figure that out. But it's fun to be able to say this and like talk. I was thinking back to like pre-COVID days, and I was like, every month was like, here, this competition happened. These people are awesome at brewing, and this is what they got. And we haven't been able to say that for quite a while. That said, I also really like to be able to say, hey, we actually had a Belgian COC. Mark, take it away.
So yeah, on Saturday, Dana and Angela judged 5 Belgian entries that ran the gamut of styles. And you can see the results down below. 3rd place to Michael with a triple. 2nd place to Kylie with a Belgian Dark Strong. And my Saison took 1st. And it was really cool to be able to kind of get the COC going again, for one, but also to be able to show what judging is like on Zoom. So I showed up at Dana's house with her entries, and she was like, hey, why don't we just like publicize this to the club and people can watch? And I was like, oh man, that's a genius idea. And so a couple of people got on there in addition to myself and Angela and Dana, and kind of got to see what it's like. And it gives kind of an eye into what a judging table looks like at a judging session if you've never done it. And you can just sit on your own couch and watch what that's like. So yeah, and then score sheets being done on a computer is pretty sweet. I don't know if going back and writing by hand all of those score sheets is going to be so
no
awesome
hand
anymore.
cramps, and you can't
No.
spill your beer on your sheet.
Well, I don't know if that's a pro or a con, Dana, because it's not judging unless you spill beer on your score sheet.
Yeah, but if you do spill beer on your score sheet in this way,
You're in trouble.
you're in trouble.
Yeah, you might have some frying of your computer or something like that. So it doesn't stop you from printing it out and writing on them and scanning to me later. That's totally cool too. We did start a Smack Talk the Judges channel on Discord. We'll see how that goes. The next thing that is planned that I was thinking about doing was cider and mead, but maybe we can spend a couple minutes if we have time to kind of chat about that. If anybody has any thoughts. The tricky thing about doing cider and mead competition is that most people don't brew as much of these, and giving up 4 bottles of mead is probably not super appealing to a lot of people. So, and if we get a bunch of entries, that will have to be the case because of having to do best of show and all of that. So my initial thought, I'm just kind of thinking out loud, is to only do a cider competition this year and skip the mead for next year when we can hopefully all judge in the same place. But I'm kind of still ruminating on all this, and it'll happen in November. But if anybody has any thoughts, maybe we can I can like hear them now, or you can send me an email or whatever. But anybody have anybody want to unmute and say anything? Or I can't see anybody, so I'll give you a second. But
Are other clubs posting what they're doing to deal with all this? Has somebody else already figured this one out?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one, who was it that I shared with you, Mark? Minnesota Homebrewers Association.
Yeah, that's kind of how this like Tech Talk got kind of modeled after. There was a central drop spot, and then there was an organization of beers, and then later the club was able to come and get beers. But I don't know how many clubs are actually doing a club competition. I feel like our club does a lot of club competitions compared to a lot of other clubs. A lot of clubs only do 4 a year, and will make them a little bit either like very specific, like American Porter. You'll make an American Porter, or it's more broad. So I'm wondering if a lot of clubs are just kind of waiting this out and just kind of putting judging and competitions on the back burner. Would people be into?
So we can pioneer it. Let's pioneer it. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, would people be into giving away 4 bottles of cider if we do a cider competition? Like, Dana says yes.
Cider, yeah.
Glenn say yes.
We'd be in.
Okay.
But you're right on
Yeah.
the meat. It's too expensive. I wouldn't. Give
Yeah,
it
I think mead is going to have to wait. And the last 2 years we've done the cider and mead on the same day. It's been like kind of crazy, and it's already a lot of work to do it online. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of commitment, honestly. So yeah, so maybe we'll do cider. Yeah, mead next year. I'm seeing that in the chat. Yeah. Okay. So stay tuned for that. Cider in November, somewhere around there, maybe late October, early November, somewhere like the same kind of time as we usually do it. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. But overall, the Belgian was a success, I think. Dana, would you say yeah? Judging online was fun?
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I really like being able to type my notes. I'm so much faster now, and I have spell check.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it for COC.
Cool.
I don't know if we'll do.
Sorry, Mark.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know if we'll do like, a yearly points thing this year, but maybe I don't know. I'll have to think about that, I guess. Or if anybody has any thoughts, send me an email. But if we only get 2 competitions in this year, it might kind of be a little silly.
Oh, that's right. We hadn't done a COC.
We hadn't done one in 2020 yet.
Yeah.
So, doing year-end points might be a little silly.
KLCC kind of shadows everything.
That's true, I guess, and the points from that count. So I'd have to go back and tally all of that if we were to do it.
Cool.
Okay, I think that's it for me.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, and if people have thoughts about COC, generally we would have big beers in December. So that could potentially stay. But if you do have other ideas like I think Mark would be open, and the COC people might be open to, like, you know, some esoteric ones, or like maybe people do really want American Porter. Like, let's just do a deep dive and drink 5 different American Porters and see who's, you know, American Porter reigns supreme.
Who's brewing American Porter?
Laura has a logistical question for you, Mark, in chat.
So we would just have multiple tables, and that's why we would have best of shows. So we would have 2 judges. We would just create more tables basically, and then the last two beers would be, or entries, or the last 2 bottles from each entry would go to 2 best of show judges that probably wouldn't have judged or wouldn't have entered the competition at all. So then that kind of guarantees that it would only have to be a maximum of 4 bottles.
Yeah, and the logic or the logistics behind it is we can create nearly an infinite number of breakout rooms in Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I created the meeting for the judging, even though I didn't participate. And if we had needed to, you know, say that there were enough entries that we had 4 judges, so that we split the entries half and half, we essentially would just have 2 breakout rooms, and then you would have your set of 2 judges in one room, set of 2 judges in the other. I think the hard thing with this, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, the logistics is best of show would have to be on a separate date, almost.
Yeah, but that's not crazy.
No,
We
so
could definitely do
that's
it.
part of the reason. That is the 4 bottle issue, is if we have enough that we need multiple breakout rooms, we need to essentially dedicate 1 bottle per judge for the best of show.
Sorry, I forget that I guess my computer keyboard is so loud.
Just keep saying enhance every time.
Zoom in on that spot right there. Can you read the license plate? Okay, so beer time. Okay, so take a moment, cleanse your palate. If you're able to go along with all this, that's great. While you're getting ready, I want to do another shout out to JT for organizing this, and then both to JT and Matt for doing what was the easiest porch drop I've ever had to do. Like, showed up at JT's house. He's like, beers are in the cooler on the front step. You know, we got to shoot the shit about some hops that he picked, which having seen those hops, like if you see that email that I sent out like last week about some guy named Mike who's growing hops, and you want some hops to dry or use fresh, those are some glorious looking hops.
There's so many out there, man. He knows his stuff too. Like he'll hang out and talk to you for a while, and he'll just give you whatever. Like he'll you know, I almost have like a pound of hops dried. Like it's, you know, he'll do you good.
So yeah, dig back through. If people want that contact info again, I can send that email again. It definitely sounds like he has way more hops than he has any use for. So, and with a long weekend coming up, could be a good time to do a fresh hop beer if you haven't brewed one yet. But yeah, so it was super simple, drop off, pick up, and I got to do a shout out for that. So as people are getting ready, this was essentially the order I threw down in my head. Nobody said no. So this is kind of what we'll go with. If I remember correctly, Mark, your beers, if people picked up bottles, had a silver cap to them?
Yes.
Okay. So if people want to get those ready,
Should we do like a live, like, just like everybody just pop them open, like right into the mic? Just
Sure. If you're ready, here we go. And here's Mark's details. Woo!
smells
Everybody
really
pop them open at their screen at once. Gusher!
good. Everybody's computer is destroyed.
That would be embarrassing.
So, Mark, you want to talk us through the beer, or do you just want us to read the stuff, or what would you like to?
Well, I guess I can read what's on the screen, but I don't really have too much extra to say than what's up there. I did use a bunch of Mecha Grade in this. There's one thing I do want to say. This was a split batch with an IPA that I tried to do. So what I did was I mashed and boiled together, and then before the flame out, I split them and did flame out hops with Laurel in the saison, and then with something, I don't know, American and fruity for the IPA. I'd have to look at my notes to know what it is. But the IPA is, yeah, the IPA didn't turn out well, but luckily the saison did. So yeah, all Laurel for this. And I think there was a dry hop. I didn't write it in the Beersmith notes, and I've had a few beers since then, so I don't remember. 3711. I always seem to never ferment these hot enough, so they're usually they're not as yeast characterful as some saisons. And I don't treat my water because I'm lazy, and those are the vitals down there. No open fermentation for this because this is I did do a saison right after that with 3724, and I did open ferment that, but not this one.
Did you use findings, Mark?
No, it's just old.
Oh, okay. That was my follow-up question. Like, when did you brew this? This is just like absolutely crystal clear.
I think I brewed in like May, maybe late May. I can probably tell you actually. Beersmith, where are you?
I'm a noted 3711 hater. I dig it.
Why is that?
I guess there's enough Laurel in it. But
So my issue with 3711, and this is entirely personal, is that I get a lot of apple peel paired with black pepper, and that's about it. And I find it, even those two things, I find it a little bit too one-dimensional for me. I need more, and I think it might be the Laurel hops that are giving it. I love Laurel hops. Like, it's relatively new variety with a ton of cool characteristics. But yeah, like the 3724, I just find to give a fuller saison profile in terms of spicing and the phenols and esters. So
I brewed this on Big Brew Day, so I guess that would be beginning of May. We did talk about on Saturday about how some of us got apple from it and some of us didn't. And so that's interesting that you say apple peel, Michael. But maybe the hops do kind of hide that.
I get a lot of apple on it.
I have the most refined palate, but as soon as Michael was like, apple, I'm not sure if it was my unconscious bias or not, but I was just like, yeah, okay, all right, I can see it.
The power of persuasion.
Yeah. My wife says it smells like when she bites into an apple.
Okay.
You said the IPA didn't turn out?
No, it's an embarrassing story.
you have to share now.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have anything else planned for this whole thing. Like, I think you have to share, really.
So I weighed down the dry hops with something that wasn't stainless steel, and it oxidized the ever-living crap out of the beer. It was like really gray when I tried to keg it, and it tastes like pennies. Oh. So it cleaned my driveway.
Oh man.
So I brewed another one, and it turned out a lot better. You'll hear about it in a few beers.
Now, when you say it cleaned your driveway, like, did it actually like scrub the cement, or did you just like pour it down
I just poured it down. It just rinsed it off, I guess.
I was gonna say,
he's like, this is a really great cleaner.
I was gonna say
it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't a useful solvent.
So you said you use Mecha Grade in this. I actually am somebody who has not ever used Mecha Grade before. No, that's not true. I have used like a couple pounds of it. Yeah, Michael came by and saved the day, and brought a couple pounds of that, which was not what I was planning to use. And so I haven't ever like really just done anything with Mecha Grade. Is there a particular reason? Like, is there something else that Mecha Grade has that the other people don't have that you're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna use this?
I feel like beers that are judged that use Mecha Grade malts just do better. I don't. That's like that's not very scientific or anything, but
not at all.
I mean, like Kylie's Gruit was all Mecha Grade, and it took Best of Show. So there's been a few other beers that have like won competitions that were like, oh, this was a Mecha Grade beer. One of my beers a couple years ago was an all Mecha Grade beer, or an almost all Mecha Grade beer that won Best of Show. So I don't know. I just like the malts are just really characterful, and they, smaller batch than say Great Western or something like that. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, Seth really takes great pride in his malts being flavorful and being not your standard commercial malted anything. So he's worked with OSU to develop a type of really well out there. He's learned his system. And I, like Mark said, I think they're much more flavorful, and they just have a terroir about them that, Great Western 2-row or like cheap German pills just don't have. So we've pretty much almost completely converted over. Mike's telling me no, but it's pretty much all I brew with anymore. Is Mecha. I just like it better. I like the flavor. I like the profile it adds to the beers, and I like supporting a local farmer.
Well, I guess the next batch that I'm gonna do is gonna be Mecha Grade. Because I've just never tried it out ever. Have you guys ever done like a side by side, like done like something, kind of just like like a regular 2-row and then like Mecha Grade's like 2-row equivalent, and just.
No, but it sounds like a really good. It sounds like a really good tech talk, and maybe a COC.
That would be awesome.
Look at the JT with all the ideas.
All things aside, man, Mark, this is really good, man. I really like this.
Oh, thanks.
Very.
Yeah, I thought it turned out pretty well. I wanted something kind of lighter too. That's why it's 1040s in the 1040s to like just be able to have a pint of or two.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I need to save some for my wife, but like, I don't really want to.
Well, there's probably more if you want to come grab some.
Yeah, I really
it's
like
kind
it.
of near the end of the keg, but I don't know how much is left.
Other thoughts from people enjoying it?
Well, thanks for drinking it.
Yeah, I thought it was a very good beer.
Thanks, Keith.
I have to unmute and say something.
So what is the alcohol content?
That's like 5.5% maybe, or 6%.
Oh, okay. Yeah, very good beer. Good job.
Thanks.
Actually, I have one more question for you, Mark. So so it's aged. So what temperature were you aging it at?
Well, so I fermented it at, I don't know, probably started at like 65 and got up to like 73 or so. And then, so I probably kegged it in late May, and it's been cold since then. Like
sitting at like refrigerator temperature, like 45.
Yeah, and my Keezer's 35. So I feel like that's like kind of a separate topic, but I feel like a colder Keezer might keep beers, or at least keg beers, good longer. That could be totally crazy, but
I'm just thinking about how clear it is. Like,
that could
maybe like these findings. Like, this is just really great.
My fermenter has a little bit of a dish, so I don't get too much true either. So.
Cool. Well, people ready to move on to other beers?
Think so.
Yeah.
Next one I think is Kylie's. We only use black caps because we're still working through the gallon Ziploc bag that we got from Brant that we all got years ago. Brant, when was that?
I think Brant was still president.
Brant was still president, so that was years ago.
So not only was it years ago, but I probably still have about 5,000 black caps.
Oh, I'm out.
So,
Can I have some more?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, awesome.
How many?
I don't know.
So,
not 1,000.
Anybody that wants black caps, I can't believe that I can't give you enough. Just email me or let me know, and I'll give you as many as you want. I mean, I think I literally have another gross of them. So thank you, Ninkasi, for switching over. So,
but yeah,
I have a lifetime supply.
So yeah, we use black caps for pretty much everything that we bottle.
But they should all be tagged.
But we did try and tag everything. So God, I hope everything stayed tagged. But I think Kylie's is the next one.
So again, another all Mecca grade beer. Also brewed on Big Brew Day. Oh, Dana, go for the open. Yep, team open, everybody open. Ours came off draft, so I already have some.
Figuring it out.
I also brewed mine on Big Brew. That seems to be a theme we're gonna stick with as well. So yeah, so this was actually a recipe that was featured in Craft Beer and Brewing's newsletter like the week before Big Brew, and Mike was like, what do you think about this? And I was like, let's give it a try. I don't know, let's do it. So we did it. There are some changes I would make to the recipe. I think just based on, well, I did make some changes. I think they called for peppercorns and I put in grains of paradise. I think it called for 5 grams of cardamom and I think I changed it to 10. I did not change the black tea, and if I did it over again, I would up the black tea. I think what the author was going for in the original recipe is accomplished. You've got the tannins that provide a little extra, but I want just a little more of that actual tea flavor in there that I don't really pick up in this. So yeah.
I actually really appreciate like not having a overly to my palate like overly bearing tea flavor, because I'm just not a big tea fan.
Mhm.
But just having a little bit of it in there is really nice. But that's just me.
I will say I was staring at the recipe earlier today, and you'll notice those IBUs that are targeted. We could send this to Dana to go get tested, but I mean, essentially we're working off of Beersmith because that's the software we use. Like you're talking, I think the measure like in weight for the Huell melon was 1/2 ounce, maybe, of hops at both the 60-minute and the 5-minute. So there's not a lot of hops in this beer because it was, I mean, one, Kylie really loves brewing herbal
I do.
beers, but the goal was to not necessarily make the hops shine, but kind of give a base layer to the cardamom and the black tea.
And hence the choice of Huell melon. I wanted a little fruitiness to go with the cardamom and the tea.
How did you add the cardamom?
Yeah, cardamom is one of my absolute favorite spices to brew with. I would drink it in almost anything. How?
Yeah. How did you add? Like if I wanted to go and do it.
I just throw them in. This one I think went in at like 0 minutes and then sat in there while it chilled. So you just treat them like hops, basically.
Why hold?
And then hold, I use instead of the full pods because there's less green vegetal material to soak up stuff. So you're getting directly that spicy, intoxicating aroma goodness from the middle of the pod rather than using the full pod. So I don't have to crack them or do anything. I just take a scoop out of the bag and it goes.
I don't know about everybody else, but I get kind of a lot of tea actually.
You get a what, Mark?
I get a lot of tea. Kylie said that she would up the tea.
I I don't really like tea all that much, but like I get just enough to, not be like, oh, I'm just drinking tea. I definitely feel like it dries it out though. I don't know if that's something else in it, but as I kind of like got halfway through my little sample here, I kind of started focusing on the tea, and then it kind of made me start thinking that that's what was making it feel dry. I don't know, but I like that in a beer, and it's something that I've been trying to achieve in that. So that's pretty cool that's there.
Yeah. I mean, all those things said, I still like it. Like, it's still a good beer. So I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Are you looking for any feedback?
I would take
I don't know.
feedback if anybody has
If
any
anybody
more
has it.
feedback or other thoughts. Not everybody loves cardamom as much as I do.
I said it in chat, but I'll say it here. I think the bitterness has like a mouthfeel that's more similar to like a tannic, like kind of texture to me, where it has like a little roughness. And I don't necessarily put to the yeast that's probably from the tea or the cardamom, that I think just kind of like adds like another dimension to the beer. It's good.
What would you change about this?
I would add a little more black tea.
Is that it? That's just a little bit more black tea. How much more?
I might bump it to 3 grams. I mean, spices are a very, very delicate dance to play, so I would not double it without going 50% first. I might also stagger it a little bit. So rather than putting it all in at 0 minutes, I might put it in a little earlier to get some more of that tea like extraction. But then with tea, you run the risk of over extracting your tannins. Laura, to answer your question, yes, it's very fancy black tea. It's the Oregon grown estate stuff that JT sells, so out of his own tea bushes. So I don't unfancy tea. It was the only black tea we had in the house.
My wife has informed me that I can't have any more because she wants the rest of it. So it's a good vote. Yeah, she loves tea, so.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to move on?
Sure.
Yes.
Do, do, do.
I mean, if you want some, you can go
I'll
pour
just sip
some.
off
Okay.
yours.
So, I guess there's a story to be told with this one. I've called it multiple things. It was fermented with.
Wait. What bottle? Like, what are we doing?
Oh, it's the
Michael's
it's
Kvike.
the Hefestein whatever. It's the Kvike, not Kvike.
Okay.
Weird ass. The one that doesn't say gin barrel age IPA.
All right, hold on here. I can't be the only one that's like too slow.
No, it's fine. There's a whole story to this beer at this point. So.
Okay. I'm ready. Feel ready?
So another Mecca grade. Just because, like Kylie said, we have a ton of it in our house. I had this grand idea. I was like, we had a heat wave 2-3 weeks ago, and I was like, oh God, I have a couple of Kvike strains in my fridge. Why not? It's going to be 90 degrees outside. It's going to be 95 in the garage. Just let me brew a beer, pitch this Kvike, let it rip, and I'll have a a drinkable beer in 4 days. So a couple of things that happened with that. Number one, I forgot to account for the fact that the refrigerator that my yeasts were being stored in stopped being a refrigerator for a couple of weeks. So they got, I mean, Kveik should be able to stay warm, but it, you know, it probably doesn't really like it in its liquid form to be stored warm or warmer. And that was a little weird. And then the fermenter that I chose, while stainless steel, I don't think it got cleaned as well as it could have, and that's on me because I play cellar person for Kylie while she's brewing.
Great.
And the last beer that the fermenter that I was using was in there was Kylie's Best of Show winning beer for Brewing Man, which had a Belgian wit strain in it. So, I brewed my beer. Everything went really well. It was a glorious brew day. The only hops I used were Cryo Palisade, which I'm also trying to clean out a bunch of old hops, and the Cryo Palisade was what I got for free at HomebrewCon in Portland two summers ago. So I added, it was something like 2.5 ounces of Cryo Palisade at Flame Out, did a 20-minute whirlpool on those, or 20-minute hop stand. The yeast strain was the Bootleg Biology Aurora, which is supposed to have a big orange rind, like citrus type character to it. It then went into the fermenter at 85 degrees. It peaked, the hottest temperature that I recorded on the surface was about 95. So the Kveik took off right away. I think I had fermentation within 3 hours of pitching. What I didn't account for was it picking up a phenolic buddy from the fermenter, and then it fermented out. Like, it fermented down to 1004. It was done in about 4 days. It hit that terminal gravity there, and I pulled a sample of it. I think it was the same day that I was giving a pitch of that yeast, or the day after I gave a pitch of that yeast to Adam, because he was also going to brew a Kveik kind of IPA type thing. Because my goal wasn't to brew a hef, it was to brew just like a basic pale ale. I should say that. And so I had to frantically text and call Adam and be like, don't use that yeast. I don't know if the yeast is bad or if it's something else. Because it's not Kveik at this point, or at least aromatically. So I've called, I think in the first slide, I called it or on my tag, I called it a Kveik Heffa beer or something like that. I'm calling it a Kveik BS beer here. Fuck, I don't know. So I'm interested to hear what people think, but it definitely, if you've ever brewed with Kveik, it's not supposed to be phenolic. It's not supposed to have any spice profile to it. So it's very obvious that something is not quite right with it.
Yeah, I definitely pick up that phenolic spice, which as you know, I actually really enjoy. The thing for me, I would say, is there's like a chalky kind of texture to it, mouthfeel almost. That's really my only beef with it. Otherwise, I love the flavors that you've melded together here.
Thank you. I don't think I did much.
The chalky, kind of like a chalky dryness, or actual chalk, I kind of like that almost, but I just really like really dried things though.
Yeah, it is a dryness, totally.
But yeah, it makes me want to go kind of with dog with peanut butter,
Mike, did you talk about the yellow balanced and I zoned out, or what's the deal with that?
No, that's just if you use Bruin water, you can select profiles, and yellow balanced is just meant to not emphasize malt, not emphasize hops, one or the other. So I think what Martin Brungard has, he's updated his spreadsheet over the years, and it used to say something else. but it's essentially full, balanced, or dry, with the intent of full being more malt forward, balanced being between malt and hops, and then dry really accentuating hoppy notes. So I just targeted right down the middle, just because again, I was going for, the intent of the beer was to be, very sessionable, not classic, but sessionable pale ale, like just a non-thinking beer is, I guess, the best way to say it. So I didn't want to think about the malt. I really didn't want to necessarily emphasize the hops too much, especially since it's essentially a single hop beer. And I'm not super crazy about just Palisade by itself. I kind of like Palisade with a little bit extra to balance it out. So
Mecca Grace, the name of it.
But yeah, I actually, Dana, I'm with you. Like I sampled it and I came in, I was really pissed off.
Is that?
But that's not what you were supposed to get from what I said.
Well, no. That's no. I'm with you, because when I sampled it, like I came in like from sampling the fermenter, and I was pissed. Like
He was.
I was unhappy because this was not the beer I wanted, and then I essentially just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to just throw it into a keg. What's it going to hurt to carbonate it?" Because sampling warm beer, after fermentation has stopped, you get a sense of what the beer's like, but it's never the same thing. Sampling beer that's 95 degrees is just disgusting. Like that is not fun to do. And I was like, oh God, maybe I really don't like this because it's so warm. And I was putting blinders on the fact that there was fucking clove phenolic in this beer. So I was just like, I said, fuck it.
I just really want to weigh in here. Like, the thing about Kvike is that there is a funk element to it. Like, there is this element of surprise to it. And so even though we've kind of created this, like, I don't know, new world standard for what our expectations of a Kvike are, if you watch all the interviews with people that Lars have brewed with, that El Apothecary have brewed with, you find that what flavors you get out of a Kvike, like, then is it weird and different and not what you expected? Well, then you kind of fucking nailed it.
Right. I agree with you, with the exception that Kvike has been shown to not be phenolic positive. And that's the kicker for me, is that no Kvike strain that Lars has come across throws the phenols that this has. And that's where I was pissed off, because I was like, it to me just went, that's a cleaning practice issue that I didn't account for. Like I was like, oh, it's a stainless steel fermenter. I did a really quick scrub when what I should have done is a longer wash on the whole thing, disassembled, scrubbed it out, taking care of all that stuff. I don't hate the beer. I actually kind of like it. I kind of like the fact that I have this bastardized Hefeweizen that is, just 5-ish%. And it's kind of enjoyable. And I'm looking forward to having more of it as it gets hotter this week, because I think it's going to be great when it's 95 degrees outside on Saturday, and I can just sit in the shade and enjoy a glass of this. So I'm not opposed to it. It's just not the beer in my head, even close to what I was wanting. So
I'd be more pissed if I couldn't repeat it, man. Like,
it's definitely one of those that I'm never brewing this beer again. So maybe there's some yeast trub in the bottom of the keg, but at this point the pitch is long gone. Yeah, that's my beer. I don't know if anybody has questions or concerns or thoughts.
good, man. I like it. I like it. One, it's a good beer, and also that it just kind of shows that you can kind of like, screw something up and like, yeah, you can still make good beer.
I mean, it will be beer in the end.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting radio silence. So I think,
I literally hear crickets.
yeah, somebody's got crickets. This is great.
Okay, we can mute.
No, you're fine.
That's
That's
great.
that's
That was
perfect.
perfect.
It was right on. So and I think JT, this is yours. And so this
These
is
are green caps.
yeah, green caps.
Green caps.
Yeah, green caps. So I have a little bottle here myself too, so I'm gonna open it up with you guys here.
Say one.
Now,
When? So this is just a straight American IPA. What I'm really hoping for on it is that I wanted to make it more of like a West Coast IPA. And it's just kind of a house brew that I'll normally do. It's an inaugural 10-gallon batch for me. I've never done a 10-gallon batch before, so this was kind of a test. You know, like it says, I've never done anything with Mecca grade. So here it is. I had 55 pounds of this Western grade 2-row and a little bit of C20 and some acidulated. Just did a single infusion mash, 148, CTZ at 60 for my bitterings. Willamette at 5 minutes. Cascade, I was supposed to do a dry hop. I don't know if I did. I don't think I did. And then I just tossed, I think it was 2 ounces. It would have been 4 ounces for, you know, the whole 10-gallon batch is 2 ounces for the 5 gallons in the keg. I just put them in, I have Citra pellets, and I actually just throw them into some mesh bags. I'll double bag it because I found that if I throw just one bag in, I'll get some little granules in there. So I'll double bag it, and it actually keeps it out okay. And just toss it in there and let it go. Really simple, like I said, just simple house brew. And you know, one of the reasons that I want to do this with you guys too is that like I love getting the feedback from my fellow brewers on process and how I can like really improve on this. And so, you know, one of my things that I had with this beer was that I split this batch into two, like I think one was a 6-gallon carboy and one was a 7-gallon carboy. And that 1056 really kind of blows the top off of those fermenters if you fill it up to any kind of capacity. And so I'll throw a blow off tube on there. And, you know, I got 2 blow off tubes coming down. And then by, you know, day 4 or 5, you know, peak fermentation, I got a layer of trub on the bottom of my blow off, you know, the can. And then, you know, fermentation goes really slow after that. So like cell counts, I think, are just really kind of diving. It's kind of popping out all those cells through the blow off tube. And this guy actually ended up fermenting for like a week and a half or something like that. Whereas if I normally do it lower, like if I do, you know, 3 or 4 gallons of it and I don't have to do a blow off tube on it, it's normally done in like 5 days or something like that. But that's kind of a problem with process for me on this guy. And then also, you know, I just kind of said, screw it. And I can pressure transfer it through those glass carboys, but I've gotten a little bit nervous with putting pressure into those carboys and it just blowing up in my face, that I've kind of just stepped away from that a little bit sometimes when I'm feeling a little scared, and I just transfer this guy right into the keg. And so, you know, I'm kind of wondering, do you guys taste oxidation? Maybe. I don't think I've ever tasted oxidation or been like, hey, this is oxidized. So, thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely taste a little bit of oxidation in here. And I think it's adding like a harshness to your bitter. Even though like looking at your schedule, it's actually probably not that not as bitter as it tastes. I think honestly, maybe you don't need the acidulated malt. I think it's a little too light bodied for a typical West Coast. Yeah, those are kind of just my initial thoughts, but I have to say I do like the hop flavor and aroma that I get out of it. I think it's a really good backbone for a beer that you could maybe tweak a few things and improve a lot on.
Cool. All right.
But it's like not it's like a really good starting place, man.
I mean, I will say I have tasted much more oxidized IPAs from homebrewers in competitions. And I will say I even colored my own perceptions when I read slides right before the meeting. And I think the worst thing I've ever seen in homebrewed IPAs is when oxidation is visible. And so like I was like, oh, if he's thinking it's oxidized, I'm pouring it, and I was expecting to see, like, I get like gray water, and like
Sometimes it goes pink.
sometimes it goes pink.
Yeah,
and
like
purple.
pink, purple.
And so I was like, oh God, is this what I'm gonna see? I don't know. You know, I would agree with Dan. It might be the harshness, the bitterness. I shouldn't say that harshness, but the bitterness is accentuated, and that can definitely be indicative of oxidation. Kylie and I have been going back and forth on diacetyl. I don't necessarily get diacetyl. I leave that to other people to chime in. I do get a really odd, and I think this is the hops, a diesel note. And I don't say that as a bad thing, because there are some hops that are just very, very oily and have kind of a diesel-like aroma. And I don't brew very often with CTZ, partly because I don't necessarily know if you know what you're going to get with those hops, because it could be one of the three, but they are like, those are super, super alpha hops. Like, I don't know. I don't know what other people are getting, but I agree with Daniel. Like, you've got a good base for a West Coast IPA. And then I would be throwing a ton of C hops. Like I would probably drop the Willamette entirely, and instead just, layer in Chinook, Cascade, Citra, Centennial, to get that really classic orange peel, pine cone, pine resin type West Coast IPA hop profile.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that's awesome notes.
Hey JT, when you dry hopped it in the keg, was it cold at that point, or was it room temp?
No, it was room temp, because I had other things sitting in my fermenter, so I wasn't able to cold crash this guy. So he was actually sitting at about the same 71 degrees, and I just tossed it into the keg and then let it go.
Yeah, Michael mentioned diacetyl. I've been going back and forth on. First of all, if there's any diacetyl in this, it's low enough where I can't figure it out. But when reading the note, I've had some pretty bad luck dry hopping beers once they're at terminal, and then not being able to like check to see if there's diacetyl. I mean, they go through a re-fermentation. I can't remember if we've talked about hop creep at all in the meetings, where enzymes on the hops can start a little bit of re-fermentation, and unfortunately that can cause a little bit of diacetyl. And if you crash it too soon, I can't definitively say that's it. There is a bit of a buttery note. I was like thinking, oh, if it is oxidation, then it might be the C hop or the C malt kind of turning butterscotchy. It's hard to tell. It's really low, but that might be something to think about too. If your dry hop load's pretty high, you definitely want to give that beer a few extra days to hopefully re-ferment and clean up any diacetyl production. But either way, no, I think I agree with Michael. It's a good base. Definitely don't change too much about it. I think just refine your process a bit. I am still suffering with the closed transfers myself, so I've steered away from the hoppy stuff for that reason. So I feel you, man. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. So you're saying that fermentation will actually kick back off when you dry hop, though? Is that what I was understanding?
Yeah,
it can. Yeah,
really?
So there's a shitload of enzymes that are just on your hops, and so it'll basically take obviously you mash pretty low, like, so I don't know if you're going to have a ton of hop creep, but you can still have some. But yeah, there's the enzymes on the hops kind of break down some of the longer sugars, and then any yeast that's still in solution will potentially re-ferment those. So you can have creep, but you mash pretty low. So I don't know how much you're really gonna have, I guess. So it's all theoretical though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
unless you knew, like we see it in the brewery, it's about 0.1 to 0.2% ABV between like before dry hopping and the bright tank. So it's not like a ton, but it's enough to that it happens.
Yeah,
it's a real thing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of research done on it in the past year or so to kind of make it more of a known phenomena. And I am also probably the most sensitive person in the world to diacetyl. So.
Well, then you're a perfect person to do this.
I'm pretty sure I got hop creep off of my last IPA. I mean, is there stuff you could do to prevent it? I mean, this last one I tried to actually put my dry hops in sort of right at the end of primary. Maybe that's a dumb idea, but the idea being that there'd still be enough yeast left over to kind of ferment out anything that happened. I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely a good practice. Try to get them in while it's still active.
I love that you like count on the hop creep to like finish your beer.
Yeah.
It's good practice. Adam, you can do it cold too, or like cooler. Try to knock the yeast out so there won't be any yeast activity. That's kind of a tough one. Sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I've stopped dry hopping at terminal. I've dry hop during primary, usually like early 24 or 48 hours in. I haven't had any troubles.
I also tried using the cryo hops, hoping that less of the vegetable matter would lead to less enzymes that would lead to hop creep, but I don't know. It just kind of shot in the dark.
If you really like hoppy beers and you want to avoid diacetyl production entirely, if you're not afraid of GMO'd products, ALDC is an enzyme that basically cuts out the pathway of diacetyl production. So you can safely make very heavily dry hop beers and hopefully not have diacetyl production due to hop creep or really at all. So.
Yeah, and in regards to hop creep, and I would have to do more research, but I heard a secondhand piece of stuff from some pro brewers that there's specific, like that enzyme will still break down, but it's in conjunction with specific brewers yeasts. Like some yeasts are more prone to hop creep, like they will consume those sugars and do that, and it's in not only just the yeast, but it's also specific hops. So they haven't quite narrowed it down yet. Like Kylie said, a lot of the research is just happening on it. Thank you, OSU. Go Beavs. Doesn't hurt me to say that. But I think it's something to watch out for. But I think if you were to just do a Google search on hop creep, you're going to find a ton of stuff out there, and it's a lot of it's heady to kind of parse through. JT, in terms of your closed transfer, I agree with you. Like I've closed transferred once under pressure on a glass carboy, and I will never do it again. But what I have found, the first IPA that I tried to do a closed transfer out of a carboy, as a plastic carboy, it failed miserably. I couldn't figure out what the hell I was trying to get done. What did work for me was to start the siphon and get it going into the keg, but then also attach gas to the keg at about 1 or 2 psi so that it was flushing the keg as I was filling from the bottom. So it worked out. I don't think that IPA oxidized very quickly. It oxidized just because I couldn't drink it fast enough, and that's why I don't brew very many IPAs. But that is one thing to think about as well, is just, if you do have a spare gas canister, to hook it up at a very low PSI to the keg as you're racking into the keg, assuming that the keg has been purged of oxygen prior.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good tip. I've definitely been looking for other ways to actually do closed fermentations or closed transfers, just because, yeah, man, that risk of something just blowing up in your face is just a little too scary.
So
Other
the term hop creep, you guys, is just making me laugh a lot. So, there's a lot that you can do with that.
Well, it's like you at HomebrewCon, isn't it, Kathleen?
Yep, in my little hop creep costume. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I can definitely if and you know what, I haven't pestered my boss yet. But for those of you who don't know, my boss is a PhD in fermentation science and worked under, yeah, I did. Now is the time I know Pester Daniel, but he worked for Tom Shellhammer, who basically wrote the book on hop creep and stuff like that. So he's got more than a few things to say about really nerdy hop shit. I haven't bugged him yet, but like Dan said, why wait? So maybe we can set him up, either first thing next year or something like that, and he can come and really blow our minds with some hop nerdiness.
Cool. Well, are we ready to move on to our last beer?
I think so. Mike is out.
Yeah.
Pouring our beers off tap right now. So if everybody else wants to get their gin barrel IPA at the ready for your bottle popping.
And so fresh.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, as I said, we have tiny screens, so I can't see, but we'll go 1, 2, 3.
Sorry, I went way early.
And I was like 1. It's all right.
People are open.
Yeah, people are open.
Mark, take it away.
I don't think Mark's here. I don't
Oh
know.
shit. Okay.
You may have. Oh, he didn't hear you. He's there.
Oh,
He's putting
okay.
his headphones in. So yeah, he didn't hear you.
Oh my god, it smells like cucumbers.
That's an interesting one. I have described this beer as spicy peaches. So Mark, base recipe is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, so this is kind of what I do for all of my IPAs. Not necessarily using Mecca Grade, but some kind of pale malt, somewhere around 70%. A little bit of wheat, 10%. Maybe 10 to 15% rolled oats, the same, and then some honey malt. So usually my IPA is a little darker than a hazy. I guess this is supposed to be hazy, but it's not really. It's a little hazy, I guess. Single infusion at 152. We decided on Centennial, Citra, and Galaxy, which I think was a pretty winning hop combination. Turned out pretty well in the regular IPA. I had to redeem myself for my oxidized penny beer. So I actually used the same yeast as the oxidized penny beer, again, to see if it would transfer some of the off flavors. I took a little bit of a risk there, and used the seasonal Imperial. Apologies if you can hear my dog next to me. A34 Julius. I usually ferment around 65. And then, of course, I'm lazy, so I just used regular old Eau de Eugene and got to 1062 and fermented it out, dry hopped about 24 hours after primary started with a whole shit ton of Citra and Galaxy, lots of Citra because it was whole cone. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I don't know if you want to add your stuff, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, mine essentially the same grist. I was having mill issues and efficiency issues on extract, so my OT was lower, But I mean, really, you don't get much difference here just because of the fact that it went into a freaking barrel that was freshly emptied with homemade gin out of it. I do treat my water. So I essentially targeted, I think it was that ratio. I'd have to double check actually. I don't save my Bruin water calculations. I do the calculations in Bruin water, figure out what I need out of, what grams of calcium chloride, calcium sulfate, all that other stuff. And then I just close the program and say, don't save. So I'd have to go back and actually double check what my target was. I used Mangrove Jack US West Coast, which was a gamble on my end. One, because it was old. Also a yeast I got, it was dry. It's a dry yeast. I got it at HomebrewCon. So it was a 2-year-old IPA yeast. I had multiple dry sachets of it. The first time I actually used it, I actually did experience hop creep horribly. And it happened cold as well. It happened in the keg after it was carbonated, and it was just disgusting. Talk about one to clean your driveway with. It was like cleaning the driveway with buttered popcorn, and it literally you could smell it from a couple of feet away. It was like citrus, and then pour some hot butter all over it. Disgusting. So I was gambling with that. So I'm glad that Mark also gambled on his yeast. I didn't know that. And then I did the exact same thing. We collaborated. He had Centennial, I had Galaxy. And then the Citra also, he didn't share this, was also from HomebrewCon. Those are 2-year-old hops. Again, just cleaning out the freezer here. But we both agreed that it shouldn't live in the barrel very long. So I have a hypothesis that, ignoring the fact that we're using a smaller barrel, this barrel is 8 gallons big, or 8 gallons in size. My hypothesis is most people, when they're getting quote wet barrels, they're wet. Certainly there's liquid in there, but most of the staves have had a chance to dry out. And so there's a little bit more exposure to actual oak, actual true oak for oak flavoring. These things, I can empty them the day that I need them. I'm probably not going to do that anymore. So they're super, super, super wet. And so we agreed, based upon feedback that I've received on other gin barrel aged beers that I've put into competitions, to limit the length of time in that barrel. So this beer lived in that barrel for 10 days, and that was after all dry hop. After which I have a Bulldog that I've built for my barrels. We racked it under pressure, about 4 or 5 PSI, straight into kegs, and went cold stored right away and carbonated. So minimal. I mean, the thing we're worried about the most is the fact that it's going into a barrel. Oxygen exposure, oxidation is going to be a big key player. You got to try and limit that as much as we can. And that's essentially where it's at. So if you're drinking my bottles, sorry, my dog just decided to sneeze all over me.
Okay, Benny. It's pretty epic into the microphone too.
I bet. So Mark and I, it seems like our kegs might be a little bit different. So Mark might be drinking a slightly different beer. Mark and I have talked about this beer a bit over the course of the last couple of weeks. And Dana, you said cucumber. I totally can get it. My initial hit though, I get peaches, I get peach skin and some other elements, but I also get the spicy gin aspect. So I've been calling this my spicy peach beer. But yeah, that's essentially the beer.
I think also drinking this, yes, voluntarily drinking an IPA, don't tell anybody, it's a top secret information. The peach on this has faded a lot over the last couple of weeks. Like
Yeah.
IPA day, this was like straight peaches with like a dollop of gin in the aroma, and I think now it's more peach in the aroma and more of a gin finish on it.
So for science, if you need to try my keg, then you can come over and get some Gin Barrel IPA. That goes for all of you.
But if I were to do this again, a couple of things I would change. One, I would empty the gin barrel probably a week prior and let it air dry a little bit on the interior. And then I would probably drop the 10 days to 7. Because it is, to me, it's very gin forward. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is gin forward. Yeah. I don't know. Floor is everyone's.
Except for the dogs.
I like gin a lot, and so I really like this a lot.
That was solid.
I feel like this. The last time I ran one of you guys' beers through the alkalizer just for kicks, I feel like the results might be the same here. I think this one might be a little hotter than those vitals are showing. So, but it's tasty. So
Yeah,
I'm glad I saved it for last because it's a warmer for sure.
Yeah,
So,
my estimate is probably 2 or 3% pickup from the barrel.
Definitely a good call saving that for last.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, really good. Definitely a nice warmer. My wife Jill was like, man, so she got like what'd you say, lime and I feel like you said something else too, and like grapefruit. But I saw you said Mangrove Jack, West Coast. I think it said. I don't have the thing up right now. I have you guys up, but do you know anything else about that yeast? I've literally never heard of it.
No, it's I just had it because it was there. The nice thing about Mangrove Jacks is that they are, oddly enough, they are a gluten-free yeast company. So they propagate everything gluten-free. So if you're worried about having excess gluten, or if you wanted to experiment with, brewing totally gluten-free, that's the yeast that I would go with. They're out of Australia. Go figure. But it is essentially no different than Imperial and White Labs and things like that, where it's their version. I think West Coast is, which one is that? A USO5 might be, now it might be, I'd have to look, but I think it's, Imperial has like a 1-to-1 for it, and it's, can't think of it. No, flagship's USO5. But the nice thing is that you get a crap ton of cells at a discount. It's not, I love Imperial, I love them to death, but $10 a pack, it can get spendy. Mangrove Jacks is, I think, half that for the same thing. So they do have some good Belgian strains, some crazy IPA focused ones.
Do you just order that online? Maybe I missed that.
Jason carries it at Home Fermenter.
Does he? Oh, awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and like I said, this one I didn't go buy it. I had it from HomebrewCon 2 years ago, so I would not advocate storing it 2 years cold. That's just mean to all yeast. But yeah.
So that was the one I brewed my IPA with that you said it was kind of susceptible to hop creep, not to bring hop creep back up again, but it does tend to creep into the conversation.
Yes. No, and I agree. I agree, Adam. It is. I had the same hop creep issue with it before. The difference, like, so I followed Mark's recipe. All the hopping, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. We essentially hopped at 24 hours, and maybe once more, like 24 or 48 hours after that, if we did a second hopping or a second.
I only dry hopped once.
So yeah, so it just the 24 hours or so.
but it was, yeah, it was like my 10 gallons, it was like 10 or 12 ounces of hops.
Yeah, and it was, we both did it very early in primary, so it wasn't, the yeast activity was still quite high.
I stepped away, but do you guys feel like the hops are faded? I don't know if you guys were talking about that. Or maybe the gin just hides it.
I couldn't tell you, Mark. I was like looking for them. I'm sure they're in there, but the gin is such a forward flavor for me. There's like a really big. Someone said limes, and I was what I was thinking too. Maybe it was Jill was saying limes, like, and yeah, I mean that's such a hop associated flavor. It's hard to say whether that's the gin portion of it or the citra or whatever. You know, I'm sure. I don't know. I don't know about faded. I couldn't say because it's such a. The flavors I get are also associated with gin, so I think they were good choices for hops. Centennial, especially too, right? Really citrusy, really lemony. So I don't know, but really well chosen hops. Even if they are faded, they're going really well with the gin barrel.
I won't speak for Mark, but like when I tried that beer going into the barrel, I would rebrewed like that 3 combo. I really like of those hops.
Yeah, I have a keg of the plain IPA, and it's for real. I would definitely use that combo too.
I saw in the chat, Christy mentioned Hopworks has a gin barrel aged version of Ace of Spades, which is cool. That is a great beer. When Mark and I were kicking this around, I think part of the hop combo, we stole some of this idea from
Gigantic.
because they do
Pipe Wrench
called Pipe Wrench, and that's a gin barrel aged IPA, and it's an award winner. Like it's a pretty stellar beer, but it also isn't as gin forward as this one is, which is
probably wasn't.
Yeah, it's not a very
probably
very
not an 8-gallon.
Yeah,
8-gallon batch either.
No, so it is, and that's where in my mind I'm thinking for that gin barrel, when I do the next beer out of it, I'm going to try and plan in advance to empty and let it dry out just a touch to mimic a little bit more of the more subtle gin flavors, and so it's not just a baseball club to the head of gin.
I mean, obviously you get a lot out of it. You said it's like 10 gallons, or is it, how big is the barrel? 8 gallons. I mean, to me, the solution there wouldn't. I say go for it. Get all you can out of it. I would just maybe keep it in a keg and blend it back with a fresh batch of unaged IPA. Maybe that's sacrilegious to some folks, but I think that's cool. Then you get a crap load of, and you can blend back to taste too, you know. So
oh yeah, no, and Matt, I've done that too with I did a triple. Kelly has an unadulterated bottle of the gin barrel triple, but yeah, I did a big ass batch of triple and did, you know, like trying to figure out the ratio of like 2 parts barrel, 3 parts, you know, non-barrel for a 5-gallon batch, and it does work out really well. It's just if you want to be lazy about it, it's 8 gallons. Like it's a crap ton of beer to deal with.
Matt, I don't think it's sacrilegious. I just think it's very commercial. Like I've got IPA on tap and I'm brewing IPA next. I don't think it's totally realistic to be able to back blend like that.
To a certain extent, it's not, but we're talking about people who have like 20-gallon brewing systems here, Aaron. So you know what I mean? Like, I mean, Mike's got the capacity. You know, that's pretty close to commercial as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I'll take it. Like Matt's right. Like it is our system. Like if I wanted to do this beer on our big system, I could easily get 20 gallons of this. So it wouldn't. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It is. As I mentioned, like JT was talking about brewing an imperial stout and using oak. and I made an offhand comment about like, if you do buy a barrel, like be ready to like you have to be ready to brew with that. The only reason that I'm not too worried about my gin barrels is the fact that all I'm doing when I'm emptying my gin barrels is putting all the contents of the gin barrel into a 10-gallon keg. And then when it's done, I do a really heavy rinse of the beer, like get the beer out of the keg or out of the barrel. And then I just, from the keg, I just rack all 8 gallons back in. So I'm not actually consuming any of the gin that lives in this barrel, which potentially is, some people are probably looking at me like I'm very, very crazy at this point. But I'll also point out that in my garage, there's probably 24 gallons of gin. So I don't need to really consume too much gin.
How much gin?
Also,
Yeah,
like the-
no, how many martinis? I want it measured in that.
Sylvia, I got a bottle for you. We'll drop it off, and I will put some cardamom
yeah,
others
yeah.
with it. So
Yeah. And it sounds like you might have a little to spare.
there is a little to spare for certain.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that.
Help you out.
Okay, it's 8:30ish, sometime around there. If you want to refill your glass, go do that. Dana is up next, so we're going to hold for a moment so that Dana can get all situated.
We can get refills.
Everybody can get a refill. Make sure you grab the drink of choice, and then we'll be back in 2 minutes to go into the raffle.
And when we're done here, remember to like bust your glasses and get everything cleaned up, because the people here really,
They're not your mom. That's
they
well.
pick up the space for free, and they're not your mom. So like tip
We're
well.
real unhappy with you in the morning if there's glassware everywhere.
Someone's going to be
And
unhappy.
please remember to tip your servers.
Hey, Michael. So I need to be able to share my screen, so you need to stop screen sharing.
I got you, and I also have to, I think, give you that ability.
Thank you.
No, you just make Dana co-host, and she can share her screen.
Let me see.
Oh, wow.
Dana,
Check
what?
it
Is that
out,
City?
y'all.
Oh, no.
Also, I've had 5 beers to drink.
Dana, you got to give us 2 minutes.
I won't start yet.
Okay.
Okay, we need a refill. See, empty glasses. No, no.
I haven't started.
Oh,
Thank you for using my appropriate first name.
yeah, Kigyon.
And Steve's.
Is that, I'm so relieved, Keaton. I thought I had it spelled wrong this whole time. And that
What do
this
you mean?
No, I have you in my phone as Keaton, but I
Yes.
saw this on Discord and it made me really uncertain.
Oh, no, I have that on Discord because I got a piece of mail once that was addressed to Keggy on Stage Man.
I've
So I kept-
accidentally called you Keegan before.
Oh, I've gotten Keegan, Keith, any name really that begins with K sound.
Kathleen.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Anyway, so hopefully you can find your name on here somewhere. If you don't, please let me know so I can get you in before our president and first lady get back.
Yeah, Dana, if there's pinball machines involved, I definitely.
Oh, yeah, his name's not
definitely
there.
need to be in there.
There is not a pinball machine.
Well, I wouldn't have cared, but now that I know that I can fill my garage with more stuff I don't need,
We'll try and figure something out.
Yeah, we decided that maybe it was a little too soon to offer the pinball machine
Okay, I didn't want to steal Adam's thunder,
without like further sober discussion.
But yeah, fair enough. That's I'm sure there's some sort of statute against agreements under the influence.
But we have some really, really cool stuff, I think, for the raffle tonight. Does everyone see their name somewhere?
I'm just checking to make sure no one's on there twice.
Yep, we're all there.
That is so awesome, Dana.
Yeah, so these are the rules. 1 win per person. If you win, you can decline if the prize isn't within your wheelhouse, or if for some reason the shipping or delivery situation doesn't work out in your favor. Okay, so first up, we've got 3 CBS logo pins. Mike, Kylie, you want to tell us about them?
So to be clear, this is for 3 different winners, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a company called Sticker Mule. You may have a sticker that is a CBS logo. I am on their mailing list, so they give me a bunch of promos, and they're like, "Hey, you all like pins, right? How about some acrylic pins?" And so I was like, "Dude, let's do it." So I got 10 of them, spent a whopping $9.
Hey, awesome.
So there
Come
are
with enhanced backing.
no, the backing is actually a little slipshod, if I'm honest. Like it's you pay what you get, but they're actually pretty freaking awesome for
We
like the
could
$9.
donate enhanced backings. I have enhanced.
We do have an
backings.
enhanced backing, so if you want an enhanced backer, we got some.
All right, are y'all ready for this? Whoa. Okay.
That was perfect.
Sorry.
Done.
Here we go for the first situation.
Big money, big money, big money, big money, big money.
No whammies.
Mikna.
Looks like Jeff.
That is so
Confetti.
All right, Jeff, do you want it? You want a pin? Thumbs up. Okay, he wants a pin. All right, second winner of the pin. You can't hear it, but there's an applause. Steve, you want a pin?
Yay. Yep.
I used your hyphenated name. Are we thumbs up for Steve? Yes.
Thumbs up.
Awesome. All right, next up, third and final CBS pin.
Jimmy.
Mr. Jim Emroy. You want it?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go to the next item here. JT. Anything you want to add to this? It has a picture of 2 loaves, but this is theoretical. A loaf that will be delivered tomorrow, perhaps, or Wednesday, depending.
Whenever somebody wants, like the loaf is the best when it's like an hour old. So I want to get it to you within that time. So whatever time works for you, it's gonna still be warm. I want you to be able to cut into it, just really enjoy it. So.
Well, that sounds dope. All right.
I can't wait for South Portland to win.
Oh, Sally.
Me? Way up
so-
here in Westford, that's an awful long way to take a loaf of bread.
I don't care.
Are you sure, GT?
Where is it?
Yes,
West.
Westford.
Oh, we'll go to Eugene.
How far is that?
Yeah, we'll come to Eugene. It's too far to go.
How far is Westford?
It's way up here by Oak Ridge.
That's not even that far.
Oh,
I need to go up to Oak Ridge to go see God, I can't even remember the 3-legged crane. It's cool.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, if you're
Are you
up
good
for
with
it, that'd be
everyone's
great. I'd love a loaf of bread. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Sally. We'll make sure that GT gets your email address.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
you can taste some of my rot gut, my bilge water.
Wow,
We
what a
have
crate.
a second loaf of bread. And also a 32-ounce growler fill of Mark's barrel-aged old ale. And that is going to go to someone in Eugene or Springfield, perhaps. No!
Oh,
Mike, you want it?
Yeah, we're in. I can
Okay.
coordinate with Mark.
Awesome.
That is
I mean,
Mark and
I'll
Brian's
figure it out.
FYI.
I don't know this Mark guy, but we'll figure it out.
His beer's pretty good. I hear he wins shit sometimes.
I hear it doesn't suck, so that's good.
Mark, is that the barrel aged?
Yeah, the Mark and Brian Old Ale.
All right. I realize Angela's not here with us today. Apparently Mark brews with bong water.
Good question, Kelly. Very good question.
That's interesting in the chat. Angela is donating 2 1-ounce tins of tea. This first one is a jasmine white tea, and she will ship it if you are outside of Eugene or Springfield. Brant, hey, you want some lavender jasmine white tea?
Yes.
That's a yes.
Awesome.
Oh, yes, I do. And I will pick that up.
You'll pick it up? Okay, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
We'll make sure that Angela gets that info.
Yeah, I would be happy to get that from her. Yeah.
All
we
right,
love her
the next
teas.
one up. Yeah.
I have a question. My
Yes.
name seems to have disappeared from the wheel.
It did.
It did.
Glad you're paying
It
attention.
did.
Fly off.
Anyone else's? Sorry, everyone's names are spelled wrong apparently.
That's okay. I can be
I was never on there, Dana, but I you know, I'm not that broken up about it. But put me on there though if you're in there.
I'm not on there anymore either.
Who is?
What happened?
Whoa, I'm so confused. Who else got removed?
He's not on there.
Keaton. You guys all saw yourself at the beginning though, right?
Yes.
Correct.
That's so crazy.
Maybe the wheel's
I
been
didn't,
spinning
but
so
you know,
fast
the
that
rest
we
of them I
can't even
do
just
remember
fly
seeing.
off.
Yay for
But
Nathan.
like Brian, like, oh man, okay. Anyone else that got off somehow? Okay.
You probably have to scroll up so we can see.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
It is cool that it just like does it.
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. And this is why the transparency. Okay. Daydreamers Tea is going to.
That's so funny.
Looks like Adam. Adam, you want some Daydreamers Tea?
Woohoo! Yes, I would love some.
Awesome. I'm very concerned. My name's not on there anymore either.
Not okay.
What the hell?
I thought this was
It
cool.
removes after.
I thought it was cool too.
I know, right?
Dana, my name disappeared again.
What?
Really flying off of the wheel.
That's what I've been watching for. Names flying off.
You're spinning it too fast. I
You're
guess.
double clicking, yeah.
Can we have like a $10,000 bonus one?
This is for the beer mustard, I guess. From Adam Boggs.
Does it mean Mr. Mustard?
I get it. Yes. You will totally take beer mustard and hot sauce, man. It doesn't say hot sauce on here because I updated too late, but it does on the other PowerPoint. Did everyone's names stay?
Yes.
Yes. Do they go off the wheel when somebody's won something?
Yes.
Yes.
In theory.
Good.
In theory.
Okay. Next up, we have 2 earrings, 2 pairs from Sylvia. If she wants to give a little spiel about it.
I just make lots of earrings, and these are a sampling. So if somebody wants one of those pairs, they're available. Or if you want something else that I have or something that I could make that's different, I would be happy to. It's mostly semi-precious stones, pearls, and crystals and metal.
They
Okay,
are
now we're off
beautiful. All
again.
right, first set, custom or otherwise, is in theory going to.
Yes.
Kylie, you want some earrings?
So is there a pair on there that you like, or do you want to have one made for you?
I like the pair all the way to the right. The dangly.
All the way to the right, the
Yeah.
dangly, and those are really long. Those are really long. They're
Yeah.
What did I put on? Yeah. Okay.
Those or something like those are my style.
Okay.
And let's go again, minus, it looks like maybe this set right here.
Is Kelly on the wheel?
Kelly's
Kelly is.
Kelly's on the wheel.
Okay.
I fell off
Everybody-
again, but you can. I don't know that I could pull off dangly earrings, so you can leave me off.
Yeah.
I think she also offered to maybe do a stud or
No, or the smallest ones I do are like the little tiny pearls. But
damn it, and Keaton's gone now too. Or did you win, Keaton?
Yep.
Don't
Nope.
knock yourself, Matt. I think you can totally pull off a dangly earring.
Oh, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
you could always give them as a present. You don't have to wear them yourself.
Okay.
I'm a selfish person, Sylvia.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Are we ready for round two?
We're ready. Kelly's ready.
Kelly's ready. Oh!
Okay.
Yeah.
There was
Okay.
no gender selection in those last
No.
2 weeks.
Pure
Believe it or not.
It
And look
knows.
at that, Matt. You stayed on. But Keaton didn't. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm gone too.
Who's gone?
Me, Neil.
Oh man. Okay. So sorry, guys. Neil F. and Keaton.
Maybe it's because you're not calling him Dr. Keg.
Yeah, that's it.
That's my punishment.
Yeah.
All right.
The internet knows.
Next up. Oh, okay. This is mine. I just racked off a chai cider. I'm really happy with how it turned out, but you know how you get with your own brews. So constructive feedback is welcome.
So did only one person get a pair of these?
No, Kelly.
Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah, Kelly. So I thought was
Keith. It's looking like. Would you like some chai cider?
Oh, sure. That'd be great.
Okay, awesome. I will connect with you and we can figure out a time I can drop it off at your porch.
Okay, thank you.
All right, make sure your name's here.
Nope.
No.
Fine. I give
Dana, I
up.
wonder if you need to hit close instead of remove.
Maybe.
I don't know.
All right. So this is the next one. This is a painting. I have it behind me also that I am willing to ship if you don't live in the area. Handmade during quarantine.
Special.
Aaron, would you like a painting?
Did I win it?
You
You
did.
did.
Whoa, yeah. Totally. We can hang it
Awesome.
outside here on my freshly painted patio.
Perfect. Awesome. Yay. Okay.
Look.
Cool. All right. Next up, Sindune is not here, but her and Trip send their warmest wishes. They miss us all. She does pottery. She said this is a personal sushi plate, but also she thinks it's pretty enough to hang on a wall. So she's willing to ship or deliver. If your name isn't on here, let me know.
We lost Dr. Keg.
Yeah.
I can't win.
I mean, I think he's
There you go. Put it in the middle.
not gonna
I'm
win.
putting a
Like,
period and he's in the middle. Maybe he'll win a sushi plate.
Can't wait.
Here we go. Aw, see, look at that.
Meant to be.
It's rigged.
I don't have an answer.
We're playing with a glitch in the matrix.
Keaton, would you like this handmade piece of pottery?
Yes, please.
Got double thumbs up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure you are still on here.
No, it's just the last one. Neil fell off.
This is the last one. I did try to make a grand prize be what I personally thought was the best prize. So this is what I wanted. But I am very stoked for some beer mustard. Kylie is gonna deliver these this weekend.
Neil's not on there.
Neil's not on there. Gotta get him on.
Thanks.
Anything you want to add, Kylie?
I'm gonna bake them fresh this weekend. So once I figure out who the winner is, I'll come up with a couple of different options I'm interested in baking and coordinate with you.
Awesome. Custom macarons, my friends. Custom to your specifications.
Probably could have put the lavender shortbread. Okay.
Brian, you're up.
He's unavailable at the moment, but yes, he will take them.
I think Kylie meant to say they were going to be coconut.
Yeah.
Full coconut.
More for me.
Must be present to win. I don't know.
Well, I am sorry for those of you who fell off in the middle as you watched. I don't know why that happened. I'm sorry. I hope that doesn't.
It's all good. It was quite entertaining.
This was great. Like it is. I mean, honestly, if we could, like, I'm thinking when we're back in person, this is a nice way to do it too. Like,
yeah,
when we have tech available, it's so much. It's not. I'm thinking back to like 775, and somebody's like, "Wait, what?" I'm thinking back to Rogue where you couldn't read the ticket because it was so dark. What 775? I don't know. Is that a 77? I don't know. I like this. This is great.
Technology.
It's amazing.
Thank you, Dana.
As long as we figure out when the names are falling off.
Yeah, that was a little unfortunate.
It seems like every 10. Like it looks like it tries to go back to 10 every time and truncates from the end.
Well, I'm sorry about that aspect, but I think it was better than last time.
This is great.
Oh, you know what is weird? Actually, I just realized I didn't see Brant's option.
Did Brant have?
Yes, definitely, and it was on the PowerPoint even. Michael, you saw it, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it was when I looked at the PowerPoint.
I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me pull.
Yeah, I'm happy to offer what I offered.
It's still there. It was right after Kylie's macarons.
Oh my gosh, I got so excited about the macarons. What's wrong?
And I'm definitely not saying this better than
sorry.
Kylie's macaroons.
Oh my god!
Because I had her macaroons. I had her
embarrassing
macaroons at Ailside, and they were awesome.
Well, Dan, you can still share and like bring it right back.
Yep, I am.
It's still up if anybody wants it.
I'm now sad that we've both won.
Oh no, I knew.
I didn't know.
It's
Not that I'm unhappy with earrings, but
Oh, and look at that! Everything's like right back to the original name, so everyone's back into the drawing.
I mean,
now if you want
Sure,
to,
why not? Let every open it up to everything. I don't care.
sorry, just one
Yeah.
sec. I am so sorry, dudes.
No worries. We're just drinking beer.
Yeah,
not at all.
I have moved on to the hydration portion of tonight.
I just scratched my sunburn, so there's that.
Okay.
Did you get a sunburn out of the coast?
The worst one I've had since we were in Hawaii.
Ow.
Okay, here we go. I'm so sorry, Grant. Do you want to talk about it?
Red knife.
Whoa.
It's loading. Thinking.
Well, there it is.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
there's something I would use every day.
Oh yeah.
I disappeared and came back, and there was like more prizes. I just got really excited.
I'm so excited about this one.
Look at everybody's names back. I just don't even know what to do about it. What do you think?
Rid of them. No.
Go for it.
And,
We're just gonna go for it and keep going until someone hasn't won.
Oh yeah.
Damn it!
Eric's already won.
Yep.
No, it was me, not him.
Let's try
Dana,
again.
Dana, you really don't like me, do you?
Did it drop you?
It was never on there for the second time.
See, and there's sand dune. So it's just very, very we're still working out the kinks. Close maybe? Okay, hold on.
Still working on it.
Michael won, Kylie won, Mark won, is that right? Brant, you won. JT, you won. Angela's not here. Adam, did you win? Yes.
I haven't won
We
anything.
didn't win. I'm JT. Yeah, nope, nothing.
Laura and Andrew need to be added.
I won. There you go. Take me off.
What did you?
The pin.
Oh, Jim won.
You won, Jim. Yep, that's right.
Get a pin.
Brian won.
I haven't won anything.
Didn't Steve win?
Oh my god.
Yes, Steve won.
Just remove everybody.
Okay, get Neil on there.
Oh my god, why won't it let me select?
We're all watching.
I know.
This is a comedy of errors. It's great.
Who am I missing?
Matt
JT,
Olive.
JT
Matt
and
Olive.
Matt. Yeah, I'm getting in on this one.
How about Doc Deacon? Did he win?
He did win.
He did
Okay.
win.
And Neil?
Yes.
Did he
Come
win?
on, Mo.
Neil
Sally
didn't.
I
Sally
did.
You want to
Me.
live?
Yeah, but Neil didn't win, so that's good.
But Sally didn't.
Right, see there, if I get the bread, he gets the knife.
That is needed.
That would be
yes.
Pretty cool.
Why do you think I want the knife so bad? It's because I can't cut my bread.
Okay, has everyone double and triple checked my work here?
All right.
Do we all confer?
You forgot to add my name.
No cheating.
No. Here we go for the bread knife, the ultimate one that I left at the end.
It's a listening to us.
Neil wins!
I'm so happy, but so sad.
Just
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
perfect, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Grant, do you think you can get that to Neil and Sally?
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe Brant.
Delivery is forthcoming.
Yeah, so maybe Brant can get
Thank you,
JT
thank
to
you.
deliver it with a loaf.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Boy,
Yeah, actually, if you
That's
just
the selection.
make sure,
This website is.
yeah, just make sure I have your address and I'll send it to you.
Okay,
Oh,
thank you, Brent.
geez.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow, how wonderful. Thank you.
For reals, was that the last slide? I think it was.
Yes,
So,
yes, it was.
I have a question for Kelly. Did you see a pair of earrings you liked?
I put it in the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll look.
And
It's in your
they-
private chat.
Is it a private? Oh, wow.
It will show up in the same place, though.
Yeah, you'll still have to scroll back.
I'm so sorry about that, everybody, but hey, we figured it out in the end.
It was entertainment. High entertainment.
That was
You
real
want,
fun.
no, you want the green, the disc and the green look. Yes. Okay. So both of the long dangly pairs were the picks. All right. Got it.
Kylie's macarons.
Christy, did you tell them it's double coconut?
No.
Oh, okay. Double coconut, Brian.
Smoked coconuts, perhaps?
Smoked double coconut.
Right.
Hey, Dana. So this raffle was super rad. As far as like I've been like in the club, like we haven't really just made stuff and brought things for raffles necessarily. I don't know, maybe that's always been a thing. But this is super cool. And Jill was just like, I would totally make some stuff for this. And so, we should keep doing this for meetings.
I agree. Like, I think this is awesome. It's a little reminiscent, not that we made things for the camp out raffle necessarily, but thinking about what we're doing, and like people are spending times creating more projects at home that aren't necessarily beer centric. I think it's a nice way to encourage some creative outlets and help people stay engaged. So I agree. Like
and we have a lot of talented people in this group. Let me just say, it's
like
pretty amazing.
I mean, I remember on Friday, like Sylvia was talking about, oh, I make earrings, and like, would anybody interested in? Like, everybody was just like, yes. Like, this is amazing. Learning new things about people that we've known for a while, and getting to see things like that bread knife. Like, I know Brent works with wood. I didn't realize that I could, potentially talk to him about making a bread knife and
Exactly,
doing some other things.
Like Dana, I didn't know that you painted, man. I love painting. Like, I just found out something about you today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Oh yeah, no, like
Seriously,
this,
like, I
this
love
brand
this.
bowl,
Bowls?
like
That's a Brant bowl right there.
Apple. It's one of my prized possessions. I use it all
That's
the time.
super cool.
Yeah.
So
Is
yeah,
that
no,
beyond?
I agree, JT. Like, this is, I think if we can certainly raffle off, some fun stuff around. Yep. I would like to hear
another
roll
Brant.
call at some point, maybe
Really?
in the future, like who
Oh.
has a Brant bowl,
Yeah.
like, because I think it's out there.
Maybe that should be a tech talk.
How does
So
Brent
I think
bowl?
eventually I'm going to saturate the market, and you guys are going to get just sick of all the.
No,
Nope. That is incorrect, sir.
We can trade Brant bowls.
Yeah.
You could outfit all
And
of
then-
my cabinets. It would be totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
So,
thinking.
and a
like,
shameless- In a shameless commerce thing, if anybody is interested in a bread knife like that, I have some others. That Etsy is just like saturated with stuff, so I have some other things that are available if you want to, get them. But I'm happy to keep contributing to these raffles like this.
That's
Yeah, I mean, I love this. Like, I love seeing people being able to express their creativity in other ways and share it with the club, and as if people are willing to do that. Like, that's the other thing is, I don't want to take away from the time that it takes to make earrings, paint a picture, make a bread knife, to give it away for free. So, but that people are willing to do that is a testament to how awesome you all are. So, yeah.
fun. This is a
I
good.
think in general, like people who join clubs have a lot of hobbies. And so I think that's something we all have in common is we all have like some pretty cool like hobbies that aren't necessarily fermentation related, but really cool. I think this is a good way to showcase all of that.
It is like an interesting, it takes a village Venn diagram, like I think even though Brian is a shit poster, he's got a lot of very strange, unique information, as Kelly and Steve can attest to. Yeah. Hey, buddy. I knew you were there somewhere. But his very eloquent way of telling them about their foundation or whatever. I think collectively there's a ton of knowledge, and I think there's truth to that, Dana. Where there is. I think the fact that people join clubs and have an interest in a thing, like they're passionate about something, they want to learn about something, and that generally means they're passionate and interested about learning tons of other things. So I feel like there's a way to do that. I don't know if it's, I think that's what like goofy Discord servers are for, right? Like to be able to like just talk about that stuff and bounce stuff off each other. I think there's always room for a tech talk. I think like the tech talk portion of it or the club meeting portion of it, for me was always like fun to see like the harvest stuff, right? Like here's all my alternative stuff. And I was thinking about that, like, oh yeah, we should do that. the logistics are a little tough there to try to share fermented salsa or whatever across like this many people. Obviously, we can do it. It'll take a little planning. I don't know. Yeah, Kelly runs to the other room to go get fermented stuff, but yeah, I think that's like one of the cool things about homebrew clubs is everyone's got a ton of other stuff they're probably passionate about. I feel like it would be, I don't know, my first hobby being homebrewing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there is that that contingent, but
Kelly
especially right
makes
now.
cheese balls.
No, they're fermented tomatoes.
Ooh.
Like an explosion in your mouth.
Yeah. Is that a grape leaf in there, Kelly?
Does that add something to it?
I usually put it in my pickles to keep them crisper longer, but I had them, so I put it in.
That's some science I want to hear more about.
Wait, yeah, can we unpack that?
Well, it's the whole
What?
whole like tannin versus is it alum or
Yep.
which is like an aluminum based thing. So people add grape leaves because of the supposed tannins, but I feel like I don't know the science behind that, and so as like the pseudoscience guy, I'm like, tell me more. But I don't know. I didn't put anything in, and my pickles are squishy. So you tell me. I cut the ends off.
I've done both, and they've come out squishy and come out not. So I don't know. I feel like it's a bit old wives' tale, and maybe my grape leaf wasn't big enough, but.
Yeah, I have to agree with Kylie. I've had ones with grape leaves come out perfectly crisp and no issues, and then I've had them come out smooshy. And then I've had jars without grape leaves that have been perfectly amazingly crisp and also smooshy. So
What's in the pickle crisp stuff? Is that calcium carbonate or something that is in there?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what
Yeah, that or alum or something. But we need. Where's Jay Kenji Lopez Alt when you need him?
Matt, why don't you get on that?
I was gonna say.
I know. I got a guy.
You gotta
go, Matt. Come on,
But I mean,
Matt.
I do think like thinking to the future, like pickling and fermentation, they're not far apart from each other. And classic time is right about now. Like I think if people are interested, like that could be something that we just kind of pencil into the future. Is like August, September, tech talk of pickling practices, or like because at the same time the fermented foods people, the cookbook we have, Southern Oregon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's people who've written a cookbook
Two.
I guess
They have two now.
about fermented foods, and they live here in Oregon, and could be a really easy sell to get them to come talk to the club via Zoom, or God forbid not. Like I mean I hope it's not at this time next year, but yeah,
Colleen would do it.
I think that'd be fun.
Hey, did anyone ever? There was the fermentation spot. It was like, I don't know. It wasn't on Polk, but maybe one up from Polk, like in like Second Ave. It was like in the Whitaker. That fired up like 2-3 years ago, and they were making a bunch of stuff. Like what?
Far West.
Far West Foods. Yeah, that sounds right, Aaron. I mean, like, I drove past it today. It seemed like they're still operating, but I just don't. I had such a weird experience there that I didn't want to go back. But those seem like seemingly a good place to start. BNF or I don't know. But there's a few spots in Eugene, like food producers.
Dorada.
Yeah.
The cannery pickles all their own stuff, right?
They do, yeah. I mean that's kind of their claim to fame.
But that's the beer stein.
It's the old beer Stein.
It is ridiculously expensive pints. At least the last time, the one and only time I went in, they didn't have prices on their menu for beer, and the tab came, and I was just like, holy hell! I was just paying like $8-9 a pint for standard beers.
Where?
The cannery.
When we went there, they were super cheap. It was like $5 for a really high ABV, and they give you a pint of it.
Oh yeah, no, that was not the experience I had. And it was good. Like food was good, beer was fine, lines were clean, like everything was good. I came away and the price was like, I think Brian and Christy, you, Kylie, and I were all on the same table.
Is that the cannery?
Yeah.
They have that Parmesan encrusted Reuben or something like that. That's like, oh, got to restart your heart after eating it, but it's freaking delicious.
It's very tasty. It's very good.
Kelly, did you tell them they were too cheap? Is that the problem? You just
Yeah, because I would just let that slip.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I guess, I think it's Highlands in South Eugene on 40th. And was that Donald or Willamette or whatever? Donald. Yeah. They still supposedly a couple of years ago were doing pints of Abyss for like $5.
So there are a few places in
How
town
many-
that do was it the Barn Light for a while was doing Rasputin pints for like $4.
Yeah,
Pints
well,
of that.
Barnlight always had Rasputin on. Like that was the thing.
I guess it depends on who you get pouring. Like if they don't know it's supposed to go in a small glass, then you get a pint of it for $4.
Well, cornucopia too. I've had pints of cornucopia of Rasputin at cornucopia. It's a little ridiculous.
Heartburn City. A pint of Rasputin. Oh.
Just pair it with a giant greasy hamburger and dessert and you know that and you're fine. Like it negates everything, right? Oh.
Keaton looks like he's on one of those ghost hunters shows.
I was just like flipping through, and I was like,
Actually, it looks like he
slide
has
back.
like a ponytail on the back almost. Like I feel like his hair is like tied back or something.
Yeah,
Bringing all the
so is
ghosts.
mine. It's just pulled back.
Yeah. That's what it
course.
is.
Adam, I like your A for Adam.
Yeah, there used to be an L too, but she moved out.
Oh.
I got to keep the A at least.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Well, this meeting just took a turn.
Thanks, Gina.
Yeah, should we get back to hair brushing? I don't know. Like,
I've been in therapy for like 6 months for that. Thanks.
Oh.
are you gonna keep going? How much more you got?
Yeah, right.
Keep going. We're laughing because we're
Why
uncomfortable.
stop now? Or maybe I should just quit. I don't know.
Or maybe you should
No,
stop
keep
watching
going.
her bird and other animals. That'd be the first step, right?
What? I like the
Disconnect.
bird. In
Well,
the-
yeah.
Those were the best parts. No, I'm just kidding.
And understood.
Yowza.
Good night, everybody.
And with that, we're out. Like it just
See, this is why I've been on mute all night. However,
Yeah, what are those crickets? Is that
Is that Jack?
Jim and
Oh,
Sylvia.
Jim.
Yeah.
Jim and
those are
Sylvia.
so appropriately timed. It's just
You
I've
know?
got some too. Might be contributing.
Yeah. This is the sound all the way through the night.
It's love.
I just learned we have cicadas in Oregon.
Yes.
Yes.
dude? Me too this year. It's apparently a. I think that's a separate thing. So I'm pretty sure that this is the big year in Oregon for cicadas because cicadas only come out, like you guys maybe know,
17 years. Yeah.
17 years.
Exactly.
Certain
They just
cicadas.
burrow-
Right.
Certain
Yeah. So
cicadas.
that's not also that's the 17-year cicada. Yeah.
Either way, they burrow in the ground like a
Yeah.
year at minimum, right? They're in the ground, they're living, and then they pop out at some point.
So
This is
I
the
lived
big
in
year.
I lived in Maryland, and they would come out every 17 years. And the year that I was commuting on a motorcycle was very bad.
Was
Oh
that
my
like,
God.
Yeah, you go around a corner and there's a cloud coming at you.
Yeah. No, I
I
realized
went to a face mask.
I realized they were here a couple of years ago, and like this year, I knew they were here, and I moved my grill right at the beginning of like when they were coming out, and I was like, "Damn, that's a weird husk. Like, is that cockroach husk?" And I poked it, and it jumped at me.
Did you scream, Michael?
I ran fast.
Like a little girl.
Big. Why wouldn't you?
And they get
Like
caught in
my
your
arm.
hair. They get stuck in your hair. It's really creepy.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
I have that problem all the time.
Yeah, I can tell. Well, you've got beard hair. That
No,
counts.
it's a beard.
Yeah.
That potentially
So-
works. Like when you can feel it beneath your face. Like
If you have children, you can send them looking for they'll shed their skin and the
Yeah,
skin
the little
sticks on the
husk.
side of every, yeah.
That's how I
Um,
figured out that Oregon had cicadas. Is that I saw a husk, and I was like, I think that's a cicada.
Yep. We have a cat who's not very good at hunting, and so when she finds those husks, she's just like so proud. She's like, "Look what I killed." We're like, "Bitch, we know you didn't kill it. You found it like that."
we'll see you, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
See you, everyone. Good seeing everyone.
Very good to see you.
Yeah.
Dinosaur
Michael, was
National
it
Monument.
like 6 years ago
What?
when that happened? Because I
No,
wonder if
this
it's just
summer.
This summer.
well, okay, this summer. But I wonder if it's just like a bit of a mild winter that doesn't kill a lot of the stuff off, and so we had a kind of a warm, wet
I've
winter.
heard of
and-
multiple summers in a row. Like it's not
Oh,
a
okay.
new thing. So it's. I think we have some of the cicadas that are faster in their gestation, but
Katiedids.
They were supposed to
Sure.
be real big on the East Coast this year. I don't know if they ended up being or not, but
They were.
yeah.
They were.
Yeah. I
People
remember when they popped out when I was in like kindergarten or something like that. It was crazy. Jim, that was probably the time you were riding your motorcycle. Like 88 or something like that.
You know,
Backhanded comment.
you probably weren't even born then.
See, that would have they never. Oh. Yeah.
61? You weren't riding your motorcycle. Maryland 61, were you?
No, you were 10 in 61.
Yeah.
Honey. Yeah. Ah.
And that was
I went
Doesn't
to
this fax machine that just went off?
Somebody
Oh,
on
it's
a
somebody's
Oh, no, Sylvia's 10.
Oh no, my
Always faxing.
I'm getting so question for Kelly and Kylie, do you want me to deliver earrings or do you want to come over? How do you want to do this? Where I don't
We have quite a bit for you.
I was gonna say so in my
we could come over.
I was gonna say I have a phone, like a note in my phone that says let's see here. I gotta get Jim gin and cardamom bitters on
Oh.
top of a button or a pin. So
Yeah, and I need to bring earrings.
So we could come over.
And you can just give Kylie my earrings because I see her often enough.
Yeah. Okay. I can
Okay.
do that. I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, Kelly trade stuff on the regular.
Seeing as Jim's fully retired and I'm kind of halfway there.
So Sylvia's planned retirement date was tomorrow.
Yeah, and I postponed it to November.
I thought we were getting very close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm only going to be working very, very part-time because I wanted to, but my replacement doesn't start seeing patients until mid-October. So I decided to kind of help with the transition, not leave a gap. But I'm only doing, I'm only doing 3 half days a week, so it's pretty minimal. But
Sleeping in.
Yes.
Sleeping in.
Oh, I look forward to those days a lot.
Yeah, I miss that.
yeah. Oh, that's yeah. And you have a small child person. Yeah.
I officially terminated my work today.
You did what?
Did you?
Yeah, but they rehired me.
Congratulations.
No. They
Did
rehired me
hire you for
tomorrow.
more money?
Yeah, more money. But now I'm going to be an associate so that once I actually do get a job that I want, I can still help them on the side. But yeah, I got the notice today saying you were terminated. I'm like, oh, okay. It was very strange.
Happy Monday.
Yeah.
Get those home brews hard.
Can I not work today? My supervisor's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
No, you're rehired tomorrow.
I always try to work in like a week or two of vacation between jobs, you know. Oh, I really can't start for a while. So that was your opportunity for a week off.
I've been in the exact same office for 29 years.
Whoa.
That's crazy.
I've worked for the company I work for since I was 19. Not straight through, but I started when I was 19 as an intern.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa.
What company do you work at?
I work for Argonne National Laboratories. It's one of the Department of Energy's national laboratories out of Chicago.
Interesting. I know a bunch of people who've worked at Argonne over the years. I used to work
Really?
at NCAR in Boulder, so we collaborated with Argonne. My boss was from Argonne. I was out hiking the other day and I ran into some woman who was into high performance computing. And I was like, oh, I used to work on that stuff, and started rattling off some names. She's like, we ended up knowing a whole bunch of people from like all over the country. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, it's especially that section of Argonne, the high computing, is pretty small. It's I mean compared to like the EV cars, and I work in weapons of mass destruction, so that's a much larger group.
Nice. Good business opportunities.
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah. Thank goodness for Kim Jong-un. Well, if he's still alive.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hear crickets again.
Yeah.
It's like a big flu.
Good
Good night.
Good night.
Adios.
Oh, there's a kitty.
Oh, look at the kitty snuggles.
Whose cat was meowing? Was
That was mine.
Is that
Is that
a
a-
thing?
That is thing.
Oh, she's going at it again.
Mark's
Okay.
animals have opinions.
Yes. Matt knows well.
Oh.
I'm surprised you still have blinds, Mark, to be honest.
We don't.
Oh,
Well, we don't in that window, in the front window.
yeah.
We just
They
have
lots
curtains.
of opinions.
Yeah. Better. Yeah. The front bay window doesn't have, or it's not a bay window, but a big window. It doesn't really have any. It loses the paint on the sill every year because of Bailey.
The one time I was over there for judging too, they both had opinions because Whitney was out of town.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, especially the dog.
Yeah, first it was the dog, and then Kat's had opinion too.
Yeah. Well, this is a different cat who has opinions. So,
Right. Yeah. It was an elderly cat.
Yeah. Yeah. They're both elderly, but this one is younger. But yeah, she's got some medical stuff going on now. So no good.
What just happened? Steve got up what? It wasn't a pint of milk, but it looked like a pint of milk. And then Kelly disappeared, and then Steve looked like he was choking. Are they okay?
I don't know. I saw Jack for a brief moment too.
Yeah, Jack came in.
I don't know. At least they're camping on a nice wooded coastal scene.
The islands.
Yeah, camping at the coast
The
and drinking
sunset.
pints of milk.
See, he's having White Russians.
Monday night. There we go.
Caucasians.
Another Caucasian Gary.
Powdered milk.
Oh.
Powdered creamer, I guess it was.
Good. So I think there's a lot of good lines in the movie. I think my favorite line though is just Jackie Treehorn treats objects like women, man.
The Little Lebowski Urban Achievers, how proud we are of all of them.
That movie got me to look up what paraquat is. It was like a pesticide.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I feel like
Yeah, they'd spray it on like marijuana plant, like fields of marijuana to try to kill it all.
One of my buddies was
I
in
know.
Yellowstone the other day and took a picture of a
James chimed
marmot.
in, that would be a herbicide, by the way.
A
Okay.
herbicide.
Yeah, herbicide. There was a something inside.
Somebody the other day like took a picture of a marmot. They were in Yellowstone, and I was like, "Nice marmot," but I don't think just went over their head.
My brother and I were at the visitor center in Rocky Mountain National Park once, and high as fuck, and at like 11,000 feet or whatever. And yeah, thanks for the intro music, right? And this like kid and his mom were just they must have been from somewhere down south far, but I just remember hearing the kid say, "I know what that is. That's a Marmot." And my brother and I looked at each other, and we have this like habit of getting the giggles, and we were uncontrollable in this visitor center. And so that's like an inside joke between us now. Like, that's a Marmot.
Marmots. I'd never heard the phrase church giggles before, but as soon as I heard it, I went, "Oh, I know it. I know what that is." You know, that's the thing where you're not supposed to laugh.
Right.
And then you're dying inside.
It's the time
you
that you're
know?
not allowed to laugh, that it's like tears streaming down
Yeah,
your face.
you're just convulsing.
And then the worst is when you get in the giggle loop at that time, where you just start laughing about laughing.
This is on YouTube, isn't it?
Probably.
Steve, you're alive. You got.
You okay, buddy? Look like there was someone choking.
People are concerned you were drinking
Were
a
you
pint
drinking
of milk.
White Russians, perhaps?
Oh, he's got the green screen on. That's what it is. Oh, Schlitz.
Oh.
No wonder he was choking.
Yeah.
Milk would have been better.
There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with Schlitz.
No one saw that coming.
No. Well, but so the issue was like you were drinking, somebody saw the white, then you were off camera, then Kelly's gone, and we're like, "Oh shit, is Steve?"
And then,
dying? Like,
then Steve walks away in a
what's
hurry.
going on?
We were all really concerned because you were drinking milk, really.
Yeah, the milk was the bigger concern, but
Yeah, I was gonna say
Okay.
no one probably texted you guys to find out if they
I was gonna say I don't think anybody texted Kelly.
let him die. It's on camera.
Let
you
me
know?
ease all of your worries right now. I don't drink milk, period.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good news, Steve's not a psychopath. You know?
All right.
Settle back. Yep.
I don't know if I'm convinced, but yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
He's out.
Oh God.
So I remember the thing that made me lose my train of thought during the happy hour.
3 days later, yes, let's hear it.
Well, I was talking about like putting Ian to bed and shit, and the happy hour, and oh shit. No.
Yes. No, lose your train of thought again.
Oh my god, dude, are you about to lose your train of thought on the train of thought you
No,
lost?
no. Okay, stop talking so I can remember.
Do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about like trading off days with Ian, waking up early and shit, and how that I have Ian on Saturday mornings. And so Friday nights, I'm just like, woo! And then I wake up on Saturday and I'm like, why did I do that? And that was it. You know, it was a really boring story. And actually me losing my train of thought was far more interesting.
Yeah, I would make fun of you, Aaron, but I'll just commiserate instead and say, yep.
Give
That's
this
the thing.
moment of silence.
I think I'm gonna
The
sleep.
moment of silence for the liver and the reason of a brain on Saturday mornings. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any. Oh, it's the weekend. I don't have anything to do. Oh God, my child wakes up at 5 and then maybe 6 in the morning if I'm lucky. Right.
I hear terrifying stories of parents that 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not ready for that, man. I can't.
Well, if
do
you
it.
haven't had, well, I guess I had.
She wakes up at
2.
7:30. 7:30. I can't do earlier. I'm not gonna do it.
Your child.
God damn, I feel like that's when the fucking Gwyn's mash in.
No. There's no plural.
No,
to that.
there's me.
No,
There's me.
This Gwyn mashes in at 10.
But also because our 4-legged child on the weekends doesn't fucking understand weekends.
No, she does, because she doesn't do it to you during the week.
Yeah, okay, that's just it. I guess that's the point. She won't actually get me up for breakfast unless it's Saturday or Sunday. If it's a Monday through Friday, she's cool to let the alarm go. I'll get up, I'll shower, I'll get everything going, and then she gets breakfast. Saturday, Sunday, 5.
Do you guys make bacon on the weekends? Like, you know, is that what it's like a weird Pavlovian?
No. Maybe sometimes, but not regularly.
And if we
but-
do, it's not till 10 or 11.
yeah,
not 5.
it's literally because she doesn't get up till 9. But 5:36, my dog is right in my face. She's just like, hey.
He
breakfast,
senses your
breakfast,
energy,
breakfast."
man. You go to bed and she's like, oh yeah, like he's so excited, and you're just excited to sleep in.
Yeah,
You got
It's
that
just like
weekend,
you're
you got
excited
the
to wake
weekend
up.
hormone, you know?
You would
And
think she
5:36
figured
is
shit
oddly
out after
specific.
11 years. Like this is the thing. But yeah, no, that it is part of the reason why I get up and brew early on Saturdays. I do have to make a point though, especially now COVID happy hours, to not tie one on Friday night, because a 7:30 brew day hungover is really brutal.
No, bueno.
Like
The
that.
worst is when you wake up at 7 a.m. like single and no kids, and you're like,
How'd that happen?
I guess I'm gonna get up and make some breakfast and have some coffee for no particular reason, but
Like, I guess I'm trolling Reddit in my bed for 4 hours.
yeah.
No, my
It's a
worst.
valid use of a Saturday
Yeah,
morning.
my worst was hungover trying to brew, and I went to mill grains, and we have our mill set up on a cart, and I didn't put anything underneath the mill to catch the grains for the first like 3 pounds. And so milled it to the bottom of the cart, and I was like, "Wow, there's a lot of dust. Why is there a lot of dust? Like, I don't get."
So that's why your IPA was 1050.
Yeah.
It's the best one you ever made, I bet.
Yeah, I don't think it was very good, but
Oh, did it taste like floor?
Well, we mill into a cart, so it's not quite on the floor.
it tasted like plywood,
Tasted
probably.
like plywood, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little formaldehyde and
Yeah, just a little,
Well, the
little something, but
Little formaldehyde never killed anyone.
nah.
I mean, a lot did, but
not that I know.
yeah.
Not little though. A little is just it's character.
No,
Yeah. I
a
mean,
little is gross. Ugh.
but you know, I definitely try and plan at least, especially now with the COVID. It's like, yeah, no, I'll figure out Saturday or Sunday, but Sunday was awesome. I randomly decided to run my water purifying apparatus at the last minute and purified some water of its sugar content, which was quite nice. Got 3/4 gallon out of 4.5 gallons of unpure water.
How much did it actually filter out? Like, if you tasted it, was it? I assume it still had some color left, but was it pretty pure?
Yeah, surprisingly, it's relatively clear. And it clocks in right around 40% not water.
We disagree on how much flavor is left.
There's quite a bit of flavor, but
We disagree on how much flavor is left.
Are you guys talking about bottle caps or raspberries? I'm not sure.
So just to be clear, you ran wort through your filter, right?
Yes.
I filtered fermented wort.
Oh, fermented wort.
At a high temperature.
That's beer. Wait, at a high temperature? It was fermented wort at a high temperature?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it was filtration using a cold recirculation of water.
It was
while
steam purification.
Yeah, steam purification of wort. How's that? Steam purification of beer.
I'm more confused than when we
Nobody
started.
works
Yeah.
for the TTB here, Michael.
I feel like you're trying to skip over something. I don't know what it is,
Every
but
time I come back, I get
That's what
really
I needed.
confused and I have to catch up, and then I'm just like, stop the BS. You're just
Tell us what's
doing stuff here.
Now I got
It's
you.
almost like our alcohol laws are really fucking oh my god, archaic.
They're dumb. They're dumb.
Oh my god.
If anybody is looking to get in on distillation, I did get contact info of somebody who's trying to sell his setup, and I don't know anything past that. I haven't reached out to him yet. But a friend of mine is friends with this person, and he's just trying to sell all of his equipment. So
great story, Hansel.
For like tinctures.
Yeah. Make
Essential
medicinal.
oils. You're making essential oils.
Can you make like gin if you buy the alcohol and then just add
That's what we do.
herbs and stuff?
Yes,
to it?
that's exactly how I
what
have
we've done.
24 gallons of gin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's only you take like something else and then concentrate it that there are issues there.
No, I mean, the way we do it, the gin comes out yellowish green because you're steeping the botanicals
Yeah.
in it rather than distilling through them. But it's still delicious and extremely easy to do.
Right.
So yeah, and there's two paths to it. It's you pack the column with botanicals, distill through it, and then collect from there. The other route is to use a higher proof neutral spirit, steep your botanicals in that, and then water down to bottling proof. What
So
we
there's
did,
no distillation there. It's just kind of like you're just soaking stuff and then filtering.
yeah.
it.
So literally what we
Very
did
large batch of tincture.
is the fact that we leveraged Jeremiah owning his own chemistry lab. He can buy 200 proof alcohol at like $4 a gallon. And so the very first batch of gin we ever did was 5 gallons of 100% ethanol, so 200 proof ethanol, and then a ratio of botanicals from Mountain Rose Herbs, because Kylie was working at MRH at the time. And then we racked it into the barrel, undiluted, and then diluted in the barrel with distilled water.
Right.
Things we learned: can't use a plastic racking cane while racking 100% ethanol.
Does it melt?
It shatters.
Oh, turns
You could
brittle,
watch
huh?
the crack
We
crystallize.
literally so like imagine your auto siphon, right, where you have the racking cane in the tube, you pump and you're like, oh, we got it going. The very curve, like the top of the cane, we watched. I was like, damn, there's a crack there. Oh, I wonder that had to have been there before. And then another spider web crack happened.
Spider webs.
And then literally as we were watching, it just shattered, and we ended up having this geyser of, because the siphon is still going, of 100% ethanol into our kitchen. And so I was like, oh shit, no, like pull this out of the carboy. And I texted Jeremiah afterwards. He's like, oh yeah, no, I should have told you, like, don't use plastic. Like, don't. It's like,
What do you what's neutral for that?
stainless and silicone.
We have a stainless steel racking cane.
Yeah, we have a stainless
like
steel
it all
outside.
over your hand, into your skin, and then you're feeling.
But it's also the same reason, like, and making this makes sense because like years and years ago, right? My family was traveling from Wyoming to northern Minnesota, and my uncle called my mom before we went, because this is before the days of cell phones, and said, when you're coming through North Dakota, can you pick up some Everclear, because I'm going to be clearing out some poison oak and poison ivy on some property. And I just know he reacts to it, and he knew he was going to get it on his body. And Everclear at the high proof, especially the high proof Everclear, will neutralize the oil because it dries out. And so what he wanted, he wasn't going to go to North Dakota anytime soon. So he wanted us to come through. North Dakota sold it, Minnesota didn't. So we picked up like a gallon of it for him so he could, when he came in contact to it, just pour it over his, wherever the contact was, and he could help wash off those oils. And it makes a lot of sense because it dries, and it is nasty. Like high proof alcohol is not fun stuff to really work with.
Or drink.
Or drink. Yeah. No.
But yeah, so if you ever get a bottle of my gin, and Adam, I will not be bottling sanitizer.
I've had your barrel-aged sanitizer. It was okay, actually. Lisa went back for seconds, but
That was so brutal to read. I was just like, fuck stupid consumers.
No, but oh god, no, Dana, like literally at Jeremiah's house,
Mike bottled sanitizer.
I bottled sanitizer and got most of the club to drink it.
It wasn't bad.
Mike, you were way ahead of your time.
Do you guys know this Sani Aid story from
No.
Benghazi?
Tell
So
it, Matt.
we have 55-gallon barrels of peracetic acid all over the place, and those tie into like drops that get mixed into water, and over time the labels on the switch or on the valves fall off, and we had a maintenance guy start. And, in the height of summer, we don't have a climate controlled building. And so we were providing powdered Gatorade in like 5-gallon, igloo coolers to the packaging line to keep them cool. And this new maintenance guy, like, bless his heart, was like, oh, I'll make some Gatorade for the packaging crew. So, they stay cool. And either the label had fallen off or he didn't read, but he pumped that Gatorade cooler full of blended it was blended diluted peracetic acid. And luckily within like a couple sips I was like, yo, this is wrong. And they're like, oh, that's not water. That's pre-diluted peracetic acid. So to this day, Sani Aid lives on in infamy at our brewery. Like, so everything's labeled, everything has like a SDS tag on it now, like everything, like. So if you pull diluted Sani out now, luckily it's not great for you. It won't kill you probably, but they noticed. So get it on them for their sensory skills,
Concentrated
Soda is mostly phosphoric acid, right? Like
in our case, it's peracetic, so it's it's acetic with some. I don't know. My chemistry is terrible in general, but at 5 beers deep, my chemistry is awful.
So
Dana,
thank you.
Peracetic acid. I mean, it's just vinegar. Essentially, it's like a strong
vinegar and hydrogen peroxide.
It depends what your additives are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bye, Christy.
But if your additives are like, you know, lemon lime flavor, it might not be so bad.
Hey,
That's,
I mean,
that's coming next year.
I mean, that's why that gin barrel solution tasted so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Kool-Aid.
Just to
That is-
prove you can barrel age anything. And it's
Pretty
like-
much. Well, but also like that to me is like, that was literally the first rack out of that barrel. And like, I didn't know as much about storing barrels and trying to reuse them. And like, there's no fucking reason to put a holding solution with anything. Like, I think that was a holding solution of citric acid and potassium metabisulfite.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, that's the standard holding solution, but it
is it?
Judge.
yeah,
not
for
bad.
barrel storage. But it was I dosed it way low because there's a ton of research, at least through Milk the Funk, about barrel storage and using both of those chemicals. But it's still like, I was like, because I had enough barrels, I was like, oh no, I need to bottle off this one. Let me grab a bottle of this gin, and it was colored enough. I was like, no, it looks like the gin I expect. Yeah, no, it's just holding solution.
I hate it when I have so many barrels and I'm not sure which one have actual gin versus which ones have
Crap. It's horrible.
Hard life. Hard life.
Life's tough.
It's
Mine
better
was just
now.
like-
our
No.
barrel problem is under control now.
No, it's fine. But it was like Kylie had a reporter from the Register Guard over last spring.
Yeah.
And
KLCC.
right around KLCC. So to talk about women and brewing.
When I got that whole ridiculous full page.
Yeah, it was quite the thing. But we were talking
And now
to
she's
her.
redoing Mike's website.
Yeah, she is. But they took pictures and like there was a whole like paragraph of how we started doing our own like gin barrel age program in our garage. And I was like, no, I didn't want that like public information. Like I kind of wanted to not.
Oh yeah, TTB is gonna be knocking down your door now. They saw
Yeah, I
those
mean, because
photos.
they're totally reading Register Guards puff pieces on.
They got
Well,
peeps.
their-
Paywalls. Paywalls
yeah.
are a bitch, man.
So,
Paywalls.
yeah. Like I say, just don't make anyone mad. You know, you'll be fine. You know. Fuck that guy. I'm gonna get him in his gin barrels.
Oh, be on him.
Aaron,
Yeah.
you sound straight out of Ghostbusters when you talk.
Yeah. Aaron's got a modem.
Yeah, your dial up over there, Aaron.
I just got to notice that my internet connection's unstable, so. And or
Good
I'm
now,
also
bud.
tired.
You sound great now.
It's not great.
Move your
sound way more
guy
stable.
like 6 inches closer and then recline. You'll be good.
Nice.
It's casual
Well,
time.
I don't know about that. Like that's a little intense.
No, it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Let it happen. He's got that dad glow. You know?
Get yourself fans only page.
Who said that?
Each your own takes on a new meaning.
Oh, JT. Yeah.
Nice.
Get some of this pig skin.
But Aaron, are you running a special this month? Like we gotta know. Like
Yeah, are we paying for this?
50% off, top or bottom.
Oh, no. Stop. Too much. Too much.
It's aged now.
Too strong, too hard.
How do you stop this YouTube stream?
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, we got
Anytime.
yeah, we had 5 minutes. Now we don't.
good reminder.